You work so hard. You show up every day. You do what's expected of you. But deep down, you know the truth. One paycheck shouldn't decide how your life turns out. But what if your evenings meant progress? What if your weekends built freedom? What if your laptop became more than just a screen? This isn't about quitting your job. It's about giving yourself options. While others crawl, you start building. Quietly, consistently, and on your own terms. No pressure, no guessing. Just a clear system you can run after work, before work, or whenever life gives you a turn. That's what Goldmine on hustlesafrica.com is for.
Tuesday.
Haikuzo makasi ni watafute uongozi pamoja wasitafute.
Kweli una maana gani? Una maana wewe ni binadamu ya mavi ya kuku.
Ama shamba yetu harambe.
Nguruwe kujikanga na mafuta yake. Na Afrika itakwisha.
Padani agosho. Ngai no mwega. Na endesho de.
Wakati hiyo ilikuwa ukisema ngwe ndani. Ngwe.
Mimi ndiye ni gavana wa Nairobi 2027.
Haya chama?
Alex.
Chama babu.
Alex, mimi nakwambia. Chama inakuja. Babu Owino ni party leader. Chama inakuja.
Okay.
Very soon.
You are going to be the party leader?
Yes.
Secretary General?
Tunaenda kuchukua Secretary General kutoka Western region.
All right.
Tuko na baba yetu Orengo atakuwa patron wa chama.
Okay.
Na hii chama itabeba wana Coast, itabeba wana Central region, itabeba wana Northeastern, itabeba kabila zote.
All right.
Hii si regional party.
Deputy party leader?
National party. Deputy party leader wako.
All right.
Tuko katika Linda Mwananchi.
Who is the party leader?
Babu Owino.
Party leader is Babu Owino?
Yes.
Chairman?
Sasa Secretary General ndio tulisema iende sasa
Western. Chairman?
Party leader ibakie Babu.
Okay.
Chairman tunaweza peleka Central ama tupeleke Coast region.
All right.
But tuta balance zote.
So Babu Owino ukisema wewe ndo party leader, it means this is your party.
This is our party. There is no my party.
Unajua Wakenya wamezoea ile kama baba alipokuwa party leader wa ODM, ilikuwa chairman kama Jubilee, naye party leader akiwa ni Uhuru Kenyatta ni chama chake. DCP party leader akiwa ni Rigathi ni chama chake. Yaani Wakenya wamezoea kama vile UDA party leader ni Rais William Ruto, basi chama ni chake. So when you're the party leader of this political party,
chama is for all of us. Sisi we are not doing individual politics.
Okay.
Sisi politics is about we, not I. It is not about Babu. It is about the people of Kenya.
All right.
So hii chama ni chama cha wananchi wa Kenya. Na tukiwa pale kama viongozi, kitu nzuri katika Linda Mwananchi, we are treating each other with a lot of respect. Tunaheshimiana pale. Hakuna mtu mdogo, hakuna mtu mkubwa. Na tumekubali kuinuana, kubebana juu kwa ajili ya wananchi.
I think Waswahili husema kila mwamba ngoma uvuta pande wake. Na mimi pia naweza kwenda kwenye podcast, na mimi pia naweza kusema kwamba chama ambacho tutakivumbua, mtu fulani atakuwa party leader, mwingine atakuwa huyu, mwingine atakuwa lile. Lakini kila kitu ambacho nataka niwahakikishie wale ambao ni supporters wa Linda Mwananchi, ndani ya Linda Mwananchi kuna uhuru wa kusema. Iwapo tuliwakosoa wenzetu wa ODM kwa kutokubali kwamba kunaweza kuwa na maoni kinzani ndani ya chama, hatuwezi kufanya hilo na sisi. Wale wanalinda Mwananchi watoe maoni yao. Mwisho ya kila mtu kusema mambo yake, tunaketi na kuzungumza. Hata Mheshimiwa Babu Owino leo amenipigia simu, tumezungumza na tunakuwa na mazungumzo ya kila wakati, kwa sababu tungependa tuwe katika nafasi ambayo hatuwaangushi wa Kenya. Kusema ukweli, mimi ninavyohisi ni kwamba Wakenya wengi sana wameweka imani yao ndani ya vuguvugu hili letu la Linda Mwananchi na uongozi wa Linda Mwananchi. Hakuta kuwepo na jambo lolote ambalo litapelekea kwamba muungano huo sambaratike. Tutaketi tuzungumze hata masuala yakiwa magumu. Manake hatutarajii kwamba Linda Mwananchi itakuwa kwaya kama ile ya broad based. Hapana, haiwezekani. Kila mtu ataruhusiwa kutoa maoni yake kila mtu ataruhusiwa, lakini cha mwisho ni tunaketi pamoja kama viongozi ndani ya Linda Mwananchi, tunazungumza na kutoa way forward ambaye inaweza kupelekea kwamba itawaridhisha wananchi wetu na wale supporters wetu.
Asante. Kwako Cynthia.
All right, hello there, people of the internet. My name is Uduwe Chegero, and this is Political Headache coming to you at 7:30 from the city of Glasses, Nairobi, County, Nairobi City. I am in the studio with Mr. Mulamba. I am in the studio with Adrian Oloch, the TikTok lawyer. I have Jeff Wesley. Is he a Facebook lawyer? You know, he's doing a lot. I mean,
is there a Kenya School of Law in Facebook?
Kenya School of Law?
Or on TikTok?
But you are a TikTok lawyer.
I never disagree when you call me that 1,000 times.
It's good for you. As a young lawyer coming up, you can have a lot of clients from TikTok.
I do. It has propelled me a lot.
Oh, really?
We do.
You do? But I see you a lot on Facebook.
You see me on Facebook, but I'm more popular on TikTok actually.
Oh, really? Oh, beautiful. Yeah. So people of the internet, Sifuna storms Western region today, and I was here having a chit chat with the DCP, and DCP cannot hide their jealousy. You know, they cannot.
Wow.
They are threatened by us.
They are threatened. They cannot hide their jealousy, and I'm like, Sifuna go.
They can have a party.
Smiling from ear to ear.
They can have a party, but they can never be like us.
Okay.
They can have a party leader, but they can never be like us.
Huyu jamaa nilimwambia reduce volume hadi sawa.
Volume ni hapa ndugu yangu.
Amesima sasa.
Ametoa kwanza.
Amesima bana, karibu aitupe.
So, welcome gentlemen.
Thank you.
Today I've got Gen Zs, all of you are Gen Zs by the way. This guy sounds like a Gen Z old man when he talks. Talk very slowly and do not want anybody. You know, so Adrian, how are you doing? What is the situation of the country? What are you happy about? What are you a bit concerned about?
Definitely, this weekend, I did not have the fortunate pleasure to be in Bungoma or in Western region, but I am happy to what is unfolding with the Linda Mwananchi and my party leader Edwin Sifuna in his backyard. I'm excited to see the Luya faces. Excited to see Bonnie Kalwale. Excited to see the grassroots leaders from ODM shifting and bumping away from that old party.
Cleophas Malala roaring like a lion.
Into Linda Mwananchi.
Finally he's becoming a tribal kingpin, right?
He is not becoming a tribal kingpin. He is not becoming a tribal kingpin. We, just like any other rally that we have done across the country, we were also going to just do the same in Bungoma. The only thing is that the reception is going to be different. Because unlike a prophet who's never accepted at his home, Sifuna is accepted back at his home. Quite welcomed with the women, the children, the men, the young people who sees him as the next visionary leader. So that is what has excited me this entire week, to see the strides that Linda Mwananchi is having. And I told you that we have already veered away from tribal politics, and that is something we don't want to talk about. But at the same time, people who allude to themselves that they are realists. And if you're going to talk about tribal cards, you should watch the reception of Luyas with Sifuna. So Sifuna will not just get support from Kenyans. Sifuna will get 100% support from the Luya community.
They're going to drop Mudavadi.
That for the first time, the first time, Luyas are going to overlook Mudavadi, Wetangula, and that they're going to stand with one candidate from that region.
As they should.
That is what I'm excited most about.
But 10 years ago, we had Kijana Wamalwa. What do you draw me them parallels?
Yes, and you've tried to always draw them parallel, and every government apologist who always think that they are old 1992 politics or the historical presence that was there.
I am just asking a question. There is no need of accusing you of being there is no need of accusing you of being
50 years ago would happen the same way. These are very different situations. Number one, we did not sit at a boardroom today and decided that Sifuna is going to be the next president. Like the way they used to sit in 1932 with the Kijana Wamalwa. That is not what is happening right now.
But I'm going to discuss this deeply. I just wanted you to tell me how you feel.
So I'm telling you that it is not that way.
Okay.
The push for Sifuna is a collective acceptance by Kenyans.
Okay.
Not individuals. So that is something that is very different.
Okay. Mr. Jeff, I want to congratulate you for the big win in Ol-Kalou. I am, however, very disappointed by the words of Mr. Gachagua immediately after the loss, after the win.
I saw your post, so
you saw my post.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, I want you to, but tell me how you are feeling. Because when you are going, I remember you were last time here. Yeah. You were the anxiety was all over your face. I can tell you for sure that even though if you looked at the mirror. There was anxiety, and you didn't know what the government was going to the rabbit that they were going to pull under the carpet. But how are you feeling now that you've conquered Mount Kenya?
I'm feeling great.
Okay.
One, because you're trying to mislead Kenyans, but I will set the record straight.
Me?
Yeah, you're talking about some misplaced anxiety.
Okay.
Well, all I was trying to refer to was the obvious that the government was trying to do, because I had prior information. I had told you they would send goons. I had told you that these masked men, we were here with Mundalo and Otieno when I told them that these masked gunmen are walking around in Prados, and they told me that apparently because I did not have a video at that time, I was wrong. But now we saw them coming out of Prados and shooting in the air in gatherings of citizens and police alike. But all in all, we are sad about the people who lost their lives in Ol-Kalou, unfortunately, due to those same masked gunmen. But on the political side, I want to tell you I'm very happy. I am very vindicated. I told you that the performance of our candidate would be exemplary. It was not only exemplary, it was earth-shattering. That is what you call a volcano erupting in Mount Kenya. So I'm happy. And I look forward to making more astute predictions about what is going to happen, including in this show. For example, I'll take you back to history. I told you the last time we talked about Irungu Kang'ata when he joined Linda Mwananchi for the first time in Thika, and you asked me where his position lies. I remember telling you that he's a very shrewd politician who knows how to play the wind of the game. And today I'll tell you a proverb so that you understand. There is a South Asian proverb that says, where the leaves go is only where the wind blows. And today Kang'ata is the leaves, and the wind has blown towards him to face the side of Mount Kenya in DCP. So I was right about that as well.
Yeah. You are, why would you specifically be happy about Irungu Kang'ata leaving Linda Mwananchi and finally settling with DCP?
Because all politics is local, to say the least. Adrian has mentioned that if you want to make a likeness of regionality, then you will see the response that Luyas have towards Sifuna. So that is also a classic example of politics being local. I did not see, and I still hold that I did not understand why he would want to make his journey to becoming a second-term governor harder by trying to introduce a new outfit in the Murang'a region. I told you, the only reason he's within Linda Mwananchi is to buy time. And it's the same thing that I think the governor of Kiambu is also doing. He's buying time to see where the chips fall, but eventually, like I said, the leaves go where the wind blows.
Do you think that it is the Ol-Kalou show that finally allowed him to see the light?
Absolutely. You see, when you're buying time, I told you as well that if there were people who wanted us to win the Ol-Kalou seat, ironically were the people from ODM. And I told you the reason for this was because they will use the Ol-Kalou win to hang or to put the noose around Kithure Kindiki's neck. The people who wanted us to lose were these people who wanted to play the fence-sitter card. And I've mentioned them on this show before, so I don't need to belabor that point. But as soon as Ol-Kalou fell and the chips were seen in the direction that they fell, they had to make a decision. And you will see it continuing from now. You heard my party leader the other day say that there are a lot of people from the Kenya Kwanza government who want to leave government. But the only condition is that they come out mchana. Si Irungu Kang'ata alikuja mchana. That should tell you everything.
But are you then alluding to the fact or suggestion that Linda Mwananchi is not sellable in Mount Kenya?
I'm not saying that.
Is it sellable?
Everybody has a right to campaign anywhere they want. Right? And Linda Mwananchi has a different appeal. But like I've always said, in any jurisdiction, there are a bit of considerations to be made with local politics. The same way, Sifuna's appeal started from a very national perspective. But we sat here and we discussed the reason why he's found himself in a situation where he has to start enticing his backyard. And I told you, I did not know which sub-tribe Sifuna comes from, but now I do. I told you it wouldn't even be 2 weeks, but now I do. Because now, as soon as he goes into the local politics, he's now starting to face the local problems, where you see he's on a radio station in the Mulemba Nation, one of them, and he's forced to speak Swahili because some sub-tribe somewhere cannot understand him if he speaks a dialect that is from another sub-tribe. So now then, you start seeing the conversation in Facebook groups, and you see them, some of them are quite uncomfortable, some of them are from other teams. They are saying, this guy is ni Mtali. I know they're calling him Mtali a lot now. So it becomes a case of local politics consideration. And I'm telling you, in Linda Mwananchi, they have their own appeal, they have their own strengths, but the local issues will direct the Mount Kenya voter towards a certain direction, which has now been cut to be DCP.
Because the question that I'm asking is that they are partyless now. They insist that they have got a party which is not registered. But then I am asking a question. Do you think that Abizwena can win in Nakuru with Linda Mwananchi?
She can try, but she will make her journey very hard. She will make her journey very hard.
We are not actually alarmed by the fact that certain Mount Kenya leaders might be tilting towards DCP. In fact, one of our biggest win as Linda Mwananchi is that the person that we have elevated the most is Edwin Sifuna. Right now, the same Mount Kenya that maybe people are defecting to DCP still feel like Edwin Sifuna can be a good presidential candidate. My problem
is that you're trying to drain the swamp, but there are ponds.
No, we are not trying
that you can't put your legs on. That's my problem. I mean,
no,
you want to touch these bushes, but some bushes, there are snakes before you get into those bushes. So I'm wondering,
he has made a very critical point. He has stated that, politics are always local. And for those leaders coming from those constituencies or counties would always want to be relatable with a party that is local there. So we are not alarmed by a local leader from Mount Kenya tilting towards DCP. But those people who actually tilt towards DCP are also still very highly associated with Linda Mwananchi. Kangata is still attending our rallies as Linda Mwananchi as a movement, which is no problem.
But he's gone. But anyway, you can fantasize over him, but he's gone. I think he's gone.
We're not fantasizing over him. There is nobody in Linda Mwananchi who wants to become the governor in Murang'a. But there is someone in Linda Mwananchi who wants to become the president of Kenya, and that person is still popular in Mount Kenya more than any other candidate,
my problem with the way this thing is going is that when, from the perspective of Linda Mwananchi, you are going to create routes all over this country, and go to the places that nobody has ever gone as Linda Mwananchi. That is the idea.
Yes.
But the reality also is that DCP might sweep more than 100 MPs, all right, into parliament, correct?
Absolutely.
Right?
That is the goal.
And we know that Ruto can do the same, all right? And then that leaves with Linda Mwananchi with the government, should you win, with the government without MPs.
No, but even if you were to play that analysis or, that block analysis, let's look at it. Let's assume, and I'm not even just assuming, I'm quite certain right now that Sifuna has a considerable amount of support from the Luhya community, right?
Okay.
So how many people are we going to field in the Luhya community with MPs? A very good number of it. If you go to a county right now like Nyanza, if you look at even the statistics itself, it is not every Luo who's actually affiliated with the broad-based arrangement. There's still a number of people who will vie under Linda Mwananchi in Nyanza and get a number of MPs from that region. You go to a region like Nairobi County itself, which is, very highly polarized with, with a lot of tribes, and we know how it tilts towards the opposition. Edwin Sifuna will still get a huge number of MPs. You go to Coast, the same thing will happen. And let me tell you, the thing that makes you quite certain about this is that national appeal of Edwin Sifuna will trickle down to the people that he will put and the people who will support in these different constituencies and governors. It will trickle down.
I agree with you. This is a very interesting topic. We shall come back to it when we are now discussing Sifuna.
No, you just don't always want to accept when I become practical with you with Linda Mwananchi. You are a hater of Linda Mwananchi. Shame on you.
Shame on me. I am not.
You want us to fail, but you don't fail.
By the way, I am frustrated that you're not coming. Jeff, you are not coming to my... I'm just asking really good questions, but he turns them around and say that...
I'm not turning them around. I'm giving you my own practical opinion.
Well, let me tell you what I think about Adrian's analysis.
Okay.
It is hopeful.
Okay.
Very hopeful. It is positivist. It's a glass half full type situation. But let me tell you what I think.
Okay.
I've been involved in a situation where I have been in a coalition process.
Okay.
Right? Where there are a conglomerate of parties that come together and agree that for the presidential vote we will back one person.
Okay.
Now, the realities of that are that once that is agreed upon, that is the only thing that we agree upon. When it comes to other seats, all other seats are fair game.
Yes.
So, on the ground, mtu wa Linda Mwananchi na mtu wa DCP na mtu wa UDA, as we will treat them the same.
Wanamenyana.
Tutawalima ground the same way. And it's not because we hate them. It's because when the House of Parliament is a house based on seats of interests. It is in my interest if DCP has 100 members of parliament. It is in my interest if we get 10 senators. It is in my interest if we get 15 governors. That's my interest. But the only thing we are agreeing right now is that Ruto has to go. So if that presidential candidate comes from a combination of United Alternative Government and Linda Mwananchi, whatever that framework is, it's not really important for me. For me is that Ruto goes. Whoever is produced, that's fine. But kwa wabunge, where my specific interest is,
and this is what Linda Mwananchi seems not to be bothered about. But let me welcome Mulamba. Mulamba has been, listening. Mulamba is partyless, so that's up to you, Mulamba.
Mulamba has been waiting with one in the chamber.
Mulamba, what is how is the country?
I think it would be correct to say I'm the only Gen Z on this table. We did not choose a party. We did not agree on any party. We've not made that choice. So I don't understand where they're coming from. That's why I was lost in the entire conversation. I'm seeing my good friend Jeff defending Gachagua in DCP, and it's getting me dumbfounded. I'm seeing Adrian defending Sifuna, who does not even come from our generation. He is not even a Gen Z. He is not even a youth. He is youthful, but not a youth. Going by the constitutional threshold and limits for the youth cap. Anyway, Sifuna is 45. Seeing these young people defend other politicians does not inspire confidence in the next generation and in the next leadership that I would want us to have. It appears we betrayed the cause we had. And we did not finish the assignment. To some, the assignment was getting Ruto home. To some, the assignment was getting to State House. To some, the assignment was ensuring that the finance bill is dropped. But to us, the continual assignment is ushering in new leadership from the young people, for us, by us. And we've not achieved that. And by the young people, I'll be selfish here and restrict myself to the Gen Zs. And I will be more selfish, to restrict this conversation to the age group, the demographic. I know you've said, some people have said that Gen Z is a spirit. You could be a Gen Z at 70, at 80. Today we post that conversation. We are restricting ourselves to a Gen Z who's below 29. And what we've been able to achieve or not been able to achieve in the intervening period from 2024 to today. They have mentioned that all politics is local. That first statement was used by Tim O'Neill in America. Some people have not even followed where that statement came from and what really implied and the specific conditionalities that led him to come to that conclusion. In Kenya, this has been misconstrued and it has been stripped down to ethnic voting and ethnic mobilization. All politics is local was supposed to carry the weight of representing your region for the lack of schools, hospitals, genuinely decrying underrepresentation from your region, pushing for more hospitals from your region, and a solution to some of the problems that have been linked at the regions you come from.
Okay.
If you talk about, for example, the Nyanza province, let's use that as a region. That includes Kisii, Homa Bay, Siaya, Kisumu, and the rest of the other counties. These 2 counties have 2 different ethnicities. So, if you are a politician from this region, should your interest be in advancing the development projects of one particular county? So if you are Matiang'i, you're only supposed to push for development for the Kisii people.
Okay.
If you are Oburu, you're only supposed to push for the development of the Luo counties.
Okay.
And that has been the problem, because when we got it wrong...
So then Gachagua has always been right.
Gachagua is a tribalist like other politicians, and I will get to that. So I'm saying this because we lost it.
Okay.
And we're using that as an excuse to sanitize the current wrong politics you're practicing today.
Yeah.
So if Gachagua decides you will not get to the central region and you will not campaign in Mount Kenya, believe you me, you will not. You remember he warned Irungu Kangata and akina Sifuna, msilete hiyo kierere wapi? Kwa sababu mlima ni ya nani?
Mlima ni yetu.
It's the same thing na Gladys Wanga warning Gachagua from campaigning or having a rally in the Rift Valley region. Sorry, in the Nyanza region.
In the Luo region, yes.
And it would be true if leaders like Caleb Amisi decide to warn the likes of Matiang'i, Kalonzo, or Gachagua if they were not on the same team. Currently, they pretend to be on the same team. If they were not on the same team, from stepping foot in the Western Kenya region. And that has not solved the problem we have. We've not solved tribalism. We're not yet tribalist. And going by the same narrative and going by the same logic, this conversation about having a rally in Bungoma and Trans Nzoia, if it is rooted in the rumor that Sifuna has to be coronated by Western leaders for him to get the legitimacy and credibility to vie for the presidency in Kenya, I think that's the wrong foot. We've not solved tribalism if a national leader has to be reduced to a regional kingpin. So as to have a national appeal and get an endorsement to vie for the presidency.
I don't think that has been the intention of that rally that has come up.
Bukusu
in fact, we have not
were marshaled to traditionally bless Sifuna. If that has not happened today,
is that a coronation for someone to vie for a presidential seat, or to say that we are going to vote for you because you're Bukusu? Absolutely not.
Have you seen
when it comes to leadership,
elders?
When it comes to leadership, this is a tradition. You're talking about a tradition,
and that's why I'm saying it was wrong, and it is still wrong.
A tradition whereby you come from this village. I today come from this village. What is the problem with elders blessing me?
Have you seen elders from the Mount Kenya region bless Sifuna for the presidency? Have you seen elders from the eastern region bless Sifuna publicly? Have you seen leaders from the coastal region endorse Sifuna publicly? Why does his
it
first
is because
endorsement...
you cannot be blessed by an elder from a different culture and beliefs of yours. You cannot bless me with people who are supposed to be facing Mount Kenya, something that
but
our
Kikuyu
own culture has not been praying for.
And gave him sandals to climb Mount
But
Kenya.
you've asked why is Sifuna has not been blessed by people of Mount Kenya.
I'm restricting myself to the conversation of tribalism and why we've not achieved as much as we should have. And if that blessing and that traditional blessing was coming from Masai elders, was coming from Kalenjin elders, was coming from Kuria elders, Mount Kenya elders, Turkana elders, I think I would take it with more weight than a localized, domiciled, regional kingpinship, because that is what exactly it is.
And let me say Gachagua, because he's mentioning Sifuna so much. I understand. In fact,
course, because he had a rally today. Gachagua did not have a rally today.
Oh, he did. He was just not keen enough.
Listen, if you have to...
Oh, I think I saw the Sifuna rally. I think it was given more prominence.
Yeah. Listen, if you have to be very... No. I see you. I see you. If there is someone that you have to actually give him the thumbs up to disassociate from this tribal politics, and someone who has exercised restraint the most, it actually has to be Sifuna. There is no single day Sifuna has talked about tribal endorsement from one specific region, like the likes of DCP of Gachagua or Jubilee of Matiang'i. Sifuna has restrained himself so much that even in this rally that we are having in Bungoma, Sifuna has not talked about anything to do with Luya endorsement, that I'm going back to my home of my people so that they can talk to me and endorse me or coronate me like he's trying to allude right now. That has not happened with Sifuna.
But he has gathered all the Luya stations to tell them that, look, your son is here.
How many?
Just like
he made a statement
10 years ago.
Has Sifuna made a statement saying that
you guys are taking me back to this conversation of Sifuna, and I wanted it to
how
come
many
later.
Times? How many vernacular stations has Sifuna gone to? Sifuna was even in Ramogi.
Let me add my voice to that.
Please add your voice, because I want us to go back to something else, and then we will come to this Sifuna thing later on.
Okay, but
right?
No. Let me make it clear. The only people who are pushing this agenda to make it look like Sifuna is being endorsed by Western region, like a tribal king, are just the people who have certain interests. Like,
but I don't understand. I'm not sure. And Jeff is interestingly quiet about what this gentleman is raising.
No,
but I think
that's why I wanted to add my voice.
The point is raising is emanating from the clarion call of June 2024. Right?
Yes.
June 2024 of 2025, right?
2024, please.
2024, right? And the frustration that he's having is that there was a direction that the country and the Gen Z were supposed to take. But it looks like some other Gen Zs have, without shame, like Jeff.
I think Jeff is the most shameful with us.
Okay, allow me
because he's supporting Gachagua.
Let me tell you.
Somebody who was part of a government that led to our death.
Let me.
If you guys are going to be talking about shame, I think I'm the least shameful here.
Yeah, let me give.
But he's the most shameful. I want to shame on him for supporting Gachagua.
Allow me.
Now this makes
join me in telling him shame on him.
No.
I wanted to get to Gachagua.
No. Before you get to Gachagua,
Mulamba had not finished this point.
Come on. He wants to stray.
No, I want to give my time to Jeff because I want to lima him next after he's done.
You see,
okay, go ahead.
People don't like to accept that your experience of one thing might not necessarily be another person's experience. My 6 is your 9 and my 9 is your 6. We are allowed to live in that situation. But the voice I wanted to add to both their points is I think both of them are addressing an effect rather than a cause. It's a cause and effect problem, and they are addressing an effect. Mulamba puts a great point.
Yeah.
However, Mulamba is infected by something I like to call moral purism.
Okay.
Where your thought process only exists in ideals. But when you go out and actually talk to the people who are meant to elect you, the people who are meant to take you to parliament, you are met with realities that are different from your ideals. Adrian and I went to law school and we learned a lot of jurisprudence in law.
Okay.
And he can tell you a lot of those jurisprudential principles are quite relevant when you look at them surface level.
Okay.
But when you go to the granular, there are other things you meet there that you didn't expect. And the reason why I bring this up is because I want you to think about the cause of what Mulamba has so aptly put.
Okay.
He's talking about the fact that Sifuna has gone now. He's in Mulembe Nation. He has stations. And my party leader, Gachagua, does the same thing. But I want you to ask yourself, what is the simplest political mobilization unit in Kenya? What has it been? It has been either region and by extension tribe. And where does this simple political mobilization unit come from? It comes from colonialism.
Okay.
Because when those people came and they put us in our 8 provinces, they referred to us as the people of the coast, the people of the lake, the people, the pastoralists, the people who are Bantus, who do agricultural farming. And that became the easiest way to put people in a box. And that became how people are recognized.
Okay.
So now when it comes to taking political power and political processes, then now it becomes very simple to say, we want someone, a representative from the mountain, want representatives coming from that region, want representatives from the lake. And I hear people talking about Gachagua, and I think that every time people talk about Gachagua, they want him to pull a rabbit out of a hat, as if Gachagua is supposed to reinvent the wheel. But look at any national leader, in fact, arguably one of the most national leaders in this country, Raila Odinga. he started from a regional background. He first of all went to the South Nyanza region and got about 20 MPs and built his ground from there. There is nothing different that Gachagua is doing. So when you look at what I've talked about as the simplest political mobilization unit, it has been a culture that has been carried on.
I think the biggest question is not the mobilization unit, is the person who's doing that.
The person is a question of perspective.
The character of that person.
You can have your
I think that is what Mulama is questioning so much.
I know. You see.
That's what Mulama is.
No,
that's not what Mulama is questioning.
Allow me to finish.
Yeah.
And you see, when at the advent of the resistance by our generation, Gen Z, where we clamored for accountability, transparency, and good governance.
Yeah.
That time, the old political order was shaken and still is shaken. They are less shaken now, but they were shaken then. And the reason is because for a brief moment there, when we challenged the system, there was a realization that there might have a new political mobilization unit that the old order does not know how to appeal to.
Okay.
But the moment we missed the mark and said that we are leaderless, and we are partyless, like Mulamba says.
Yes.
That is when we did not have the chance to realize that our moral conviction that took us out to the streets could only be solved by a political solution. So the moment we missed that mark is when now the politicians relaxed and went back to what they know as the simplest political mobilization unit.
Yeah.
So as much as you want to tell us about Gachagua being a regional Kimpi, that is your idea. DCP has elected members in places that are not Mount Kenya.
Yeah.
So if you want to call him a regional kingpin, I cannot fault you for having your own perspective. That is yours.
Yes.
But at the same time, you also have to accept that that is the route that our country has taken until we build new demographics that suffice as political mobilization units.
Yeah, I don't think I'm interested in you limaring Gachagua now, because forget about give the man a break now.
So today you are
but he's creating his own agenda.
Let me get his chance.
Yeah, I'm wondering why he has come.
Is the biggest punching bag in this country, and that is why he also has quite a lot of people speaking to try and de-escalate.
Okay, then punch Gachagua.
So when we criticize Duale, you don't see.
Yeah.
When we castigate Ruto, you don't see.
Yes.
When some people have a problem with Babu Owino, you don't see. But when we pick on Gachagua, now it's a problem.
Yes.
Now I find that quite amusing.
No, but go ahead. What is your problem with Gachagua?
I'll take a minute to give you an history or a brief history of Gachagua. Then you will realize I wouldn't have to state the problem. You will realize what the problem is.
Okay.
In 1986, Gachagua was the chairman of the Nyeri District University Students Association.
Okay.
This was after the banning of SONU.
Okay.
That is the Students' Union of Nairobi University, I think. So at this time, district associations were being used to galvanize support for student issues and agitate for reform and represent the affairs of students. There were two distinct students' associations. One that was pro-Moi and pro-Kanu. One that was anti-Kanu and anti-Moi. Not that I have not, I think you should have a side note that I have not referenced this as anti-government. I have sticked to the party and the president. Because I think it would be irrational to be anti-government, because then that would make you an anarchist. So at this time, Gachagua was pro-Kanu and pro-Moi, and we know Kanu's history and Moi's history. I do not need to belabor that.
Okay.
In 1986, he leads a delegation to Kabarak Gardens of students drawn from Nyeri and from the central region, specifically Nyeri, to have a chit-chat.
In 1986?
1986. To have a chit-chat with the president then, Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. I have already told you where Gachagua was sitting at this point.
Okay.
He was Marco Uko, he was Kasmuel, he was the Roslyn Alionya of today.
Okay.
Gachagua, in that particular meeting, gave a speech that wowed President Moi and bewildered the audience that had attended that particular arrangement and meeting. From that meeting, Moi handpicked him and brought him close to power. And I'm saying this because he was granted favors and rewarded handsomely for delivering students to KANU at the time where activists, political leaders, and brave students dared the KANU administration for its maladministration of the Kenyan state.
Okay.
In 1987, Gachagua accompanies Moi to Canada. You can see how close to power he was.
Okay.
In 1988, he enters government, of course at the behest of President Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. He becomes an assistant secretary, a DO, a PA for the head of public service, a PA to Uhuru Kenyatta, and the list goes on.
Okay.
So he knows what power is, and he's been a collaborator all along.
Okay.
In 1989, okay, I'll skip that because we just don't have time. In 1995 to 1996, he was a DO in Kakamega district. In 1997 to 1999, he was a DO in Ngarua division, Laikipia district. At one point, he was a DO at Kiamba.
Okay.
And I will address myself to his legacy as a DO.
Okay.
So that you can make your own inferences. There has been talk that Gachagua was misused by Moi as a DO to effect the Molo clashes. But this has been dispensed with and dispelled because he was not a DO anywhere around Nakuru or Molo.
In finishing,
Gachagua was a DO in Kiamba.
Okay.
I will address myself to the specifics and to what has been confirmed.
Okay.
As a DO in Kiamba, he required bar owners to make Christmas contributions. These were, for lack of another term, extortions and bribery. This went on for 3 years.
Christmas for his family.
3 years.
Christmas for his
I
family.
will get to that. This went on for 3 years.
Okay.
Chiefs and assistant chiefs were instructed by writing to collect these bribes, somewhere between 500 to 1,000.
Okay.
For 3 years.
Okay, in finishing.
The then Kiamba MP, Kamau Iharia, if I'm not getting the name wrong, decried this to the provincial administration and to the president.
Okay.
And it was halted after 3 years of kusangwenya.
Okay.
The current term ya bribes.
Okay.
And his record is nowhere close to impeccable.
Okay.
And he has a lot in common with William Ruto. And I've just mentioned one aspect of Gachagua I do not agree, going as back as the 80s and 90s.
Okay.
If I get to the early 2000s and to 2020, I think Jeff will not be sitting here or he will not be as confident marketing, defending and legitimizing this Gachagua to us. So
I don't think he has really. I don't think he has.
He has been defending Gachagua.
He has not defended Gachagua at all.
He is his party leader and he's been marketing DCP. Who is the owner of DCP? The owner of DCP is Rigathi Gachagua. Rigathi Gachagua is his party leader. He cannot dare to castigate his party leader. He cannot step out of line because that party will summon him for disciplinary.
Yeah. What is your point? That
the point
because
is,
all I've gotten is a historical lesson, which I'm grateful for.
I have not gotten to 2000 and to 2020.
It's fine. But assuming that it gets worse.
Yes.
What is your point? Assuming it gets worse.
My point. Not assuming it will get worse.
Okay, as it gets worse.
I'll get another show to talk about the Gachagua I know from 2000.
Yeah, on Tuesdays I think there is a historical show that is done by yeah.
So you see, it goes without saying.
Yeah.
It's a foregone conclusion that we should not have the characters of Gachagua influencing the politics of today.
Okay.
We should have nothing to do with the tribal bigots of back then.
Yeah.
The apologists of the KANU government and the excusers of the Moi excesses leading us today and influencing politics in this generation.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that the legacy we are trying to
transition? You see, my
from?
problem with you, Mr. Mulamba, is that you are castigating Gachagua, but not the people that are following him. People have decided that they are following Gachagua.
I have started with Jeff. He's sitting here. He's someone who follows Gachagua. I don't know if he worships him, but he is a stickler to the discipline and he's a loyal
What do you think, before we move on? the things that he's saying about Gachagua.
I've talked about those things most of the times.
Yeah.
There is someone in Linda Mwananchi who does not support Gachagua with all his heart, might.
Jeff, at some point you guys will have to deal with the issue of Gachagua. It's a monster that you guys are not dealing with. The person behind DCP, which is a very virgin party.
In fact, the only solution for the people in DCP is to support Edwin Sifuna.
No.
That is their only solution. And we stop saying no.
That's not the point I'm trying to tell you.
Don't say no. His party leader,
I need to do a rebuttal.
We know that his party leader.
What he has to say.
You know, you're talking about that, and we know that their party leader might not actually vie for the presidential seat.
Let me talk to you about it.
In fact, before we even came to the show, he stated that he knows the playbook of the government, that a few days to election, Supreme Court renders the judgment, and you become ineligible to.
Let me explain that. Let me clarify, because
so
Adrian is trying
even
to be
his own party leader has stated that he has no problem supporting Sifuna. So I don't know why you, Jagero, has a problem.
Let me tell you. See, Adrian is trying to do something we call sharp practice.
Okay.
So he's quoting an off-camera discussion out of context. So
okay.
Like I said.
I believe he's doing that.
What I said is Jeff has the time to say that conversation did not happen.
No, it happened. However, we were talking about the precedents that courts have set in terms of impeachment proceedings. And on this show, I've told you, so long as there is a route for appeal, you cannot completely discount someone's right if the courts have not definitively dealt with that matter. But you've talked about the person of Gachagua.
Yeah. They assumed baggage.
I keep on saying that everybody who talks about the person of any politician is a person who wants to speak from both sides of the mouth.
Okay.
Because it is in this country that we say we do not want to make our politics a personality cult.
Okay.
However, you're here telling me we've spent the last 20 minutes discussing my party leader because of the person that allegedly...
No, it's not 20 minutes.
No, it has been 20 minutes.
No.
I was counting.
So you are as dishonest as
because let me tell you, it is not about his personality that a lot of people might subscribe to him.
Okay.
There is politics of practicality.
Okay.
There is politics of admiration, and there is politics of practicality and reality is what I meant in the first statement.
Yeah.
If you look at what you're saying, that people need to deal with Gachagua.
Okay.
People, again, have said, hold Gachagua to this unimaginable standard that I've not seen held to anybody else.
Okay.
We have
well,
no. Mulamba, I did not say you. Mulamba, just hold on.
But we held Ruto to that standard.
Hold on.
That statement
Mulamba, hold on. Hold on. I
Yeah.
did not see, okay, you might be holding Ruto to that same standard now as he is president, but I did not hear the same questions from people like Mulamba when Ruto was seeking presidency.
Perhaps you are not listening.
Absolutely. And that could be a consequence of maybe there was no political headache back then. However, I'm saying this, and I want you to catch me clearly, because belaboring points of history and holding Gachagua to a standard that, again, I am saying is quite unfair, because leaders in this country, including statesmen who have grown into their statesmanship, have had their own colored history. We are talking about Raila, who, again, I've said is one of the most leaders who grew into nationalism. He was the SG of KANU. We're talking about Kalonzo. He was part of it. Ruto was part of KANU. And when Mulamba talks,
as a matter of fact, Raila was the coup master of 1982.
And whether you see Jagero and Mulamba today, you are making very egregious claims, and it's okay. Those are your opinions.
But
mine is not an opinion.
Let me land my point. Let me land my point. It is very easy when you see people want to check political might, they start talking about persona. I told you I saw your post, and you used the word that I could tell your exact feelings. Jagero said it was putrid. I don't know if you know, you are quite well versed with the Queen's language. You understand what putrid means. And you have also said Gachagua is a hard man to love. But you are misguided in thinking that Gachagua is in this political game looking for love. That is our girlfriends and our wives' jobs. Because we are here to form a political party that will go to power. We are here to form political parties that will take power. We are here to change the country. And let me tell you, agents of change don't often come from saints.
Good
people.
No,
Mulamba, give me time. Good people can often do bad things. Bad people can often do good things.
Okay.
But realistic people do the most pragmatic thing. And that is why I am telling you, when you start talking about Gachagwa's personality, unfortunately, it does not have the effect you think it does.
Okay.
In fact, when that Mwananchi in Laikipia West, my constituency, that hears you talk about Gachagua like that, they believe you are a political agent for the state.
Okay.
And what does that do? It galvanizes them towards Gachagua. That is why it was so easy for us. And I told you, to win Ol Kalou, because they had made Gachagua to be this boogeyman that they want to defeat.
Okay.
And instead of creating a boogeyman, they created a martyr. And that is the point that I am trying to sell to you, that when you focus on personality, it will not land.
By the way, to be clear, I am not very interested in the histories that this guy is bringing up of 1986 when Adrian's mother was not born yet.
Can I get a rebuttal?
No. Listen, when I talked about the putrid statement that Gachagua talked about, I think it is important for me to. I was not talking about the character of Gachagua.
You are talking about.
I'm talking about the things that you're saying. For example, it is we have seen that, and for me, I was very traumatized by that statement because because it has happened in Nyanza over and over again, where Raila Odinga has always handpicked who becomes who in Nyanza. And I thought that those statements of Gachagua was pointing to that fact. And soon after that, by the way, when Gachagua was talking about Kimani Ichung'wah, I was actually in Kikuyu. And I was being driven around the roads that Ichung'wah has done in Kikuyu land, in Kikuyu constituency, all the way to the Mpaka, what is it called? The other side of Suswa. Okay? And it was just interesting that he could instruct a constituency to vote a particular person.
Let me tell you why that is a reality. Because I remember you made that post immediately when Sammy Douglas won and they were doing a press conference in Nyahururu.
Yes.
Let me explain to you why.
Okay.
I think that goes back to local politics.
Okay.
It is instructive to note that this is not a new thing. In Mount Kenya, the reason why the attrition rate for members of parliament is so high, like members of parliament who are Hawarudi, is because people first consider leaders by their representative capacity. And I will give you a very good example of the former Kieni MP, Kanini Kega.
Okay.
Kanini Kega was he was leading one of the constituencies that had one of the most biggest development records.
Okay.
But when push came to shove, and the people of Kieni did not identify with his representative leadership because he picked the wrong party, he went home. And that is where the statement here, Hatukuli Barabara, came from. Now, you might look at that as an irresponsibility on the local Mwananchi, but I can tell you, it is because when the Mount Kenya person feels disenfranchised by their leader, the problem immediately does not go back to the development, it goes back to the leader. And when you're talking about Kimani Ichung'wah, I agree he has made roads. Na pale Kikuyu ukitembea utasikia watu wanasema barabara ni nzuri lakini last term. Si kwa sababu ya kitu ingine, it is because the problem that Mount Kenya has in terms of representation versus anything else has already gotten to the doorstep of Kimani Ichung'wah. Because let me ask you, Jagero, in a functional democracy, leaders are supposed to deliver development regardless. So long as you are elected, you are supposed to deliver development. So telling me that Kimani Ichung'wah suddenly should be spared because he has failed on his representative capacities to the people of Kikuyu, as they tell us, is telling me that Kikuyu has no one else who is capable of delivering the same kind of representation.
But is that the mandate of Gachagua?
No, let me tell you, what Gachagua is doing, and he has always put it very clearly. Mimi naongoza watu wanajua kwenye naenda. I only go ahead of them and lead them to where they want to go. Some of these messages you might think, I told you here, Jagero, again, if you think Gachagua is radical, you need to go and sit down with the Mount Kenya voter and find out just how radical they are. Because that will explain to you. So he's simply
pouring fuel into the fire.
No. What he is saying, these are people who have already been identified as representative failures to the people of Mount Kenya.
The support of those leaders don't emanate from Gachagua.
Yes,
it
and
emanates
as soon
from the
as
people.
that has been
that
identified, let me tell you, as soon as that has been identified,
from Raila,
all he does, and that's why our party, allow me to speak, Mulamba, I can see you have one in the chamber. Relax. You will get your time to draw your weapon. But as soon as I've told you that Gachagua himself says, I lead the people who know where they want to go. Ndio maana chama yetu inasemanga kusikiza ground.
Where are you going?
I am going with
not
the
you.
People
where are you guys going?
I am contextually aware of this conversation, Jagger. You don't have to guide me.
No. I'm simply interjecting.
I want to second him.
I'm interjecting. Where are they going?
Where we are going is,
okay.
As Mount Kenya, we want leaders who first of all listen to people. And that is why, because there's a statement you've made that is factually incorrect.
Yes.
You've said that you've been traumatized because Raila used to handpick people.
Okay.
If Gachagua was supposed to handpick people, the DCP nominations would not have been won by Sammy Douglas Kamau Aweru. Because the person who was slated to perceptionally win was a guy who is a millionaire and was walking around in Olkalau constituencies with a chopper.
So,
but the people had already told Gachagua.
It is the money that you don't want. Anybody else can go.
Jagero, you're twisting my words. I have said the people of Kikuyu do not want Kimani, and you telling us that
why if the people of Kikuyu do not want Kimani Ichung'wah, why does Gachagua need to add a word?
Because he's their leader. That's what leaders do. They amplify the message. And let me tell you, I've said consistently.
How is Gachagua the leader of Kikuyu constituency?
You cannot ask me a question. Let me tell you, Jagero cannot ask me a question and then refuse me to answer. Okay. So I was saying, you saying that it's a problem when Gachagua says what the people of Kikuyu are saying, that we no longer want this person, is to assume that Kikuyu has no sons and daughters who can become the member of parliament in that constituency to deliver development. And that is a very absurd claim to make. I don't know why you would assume that development can only be executed by Kimani Ichung'wah.
I'm just assuming that Gachagua doesn't need to tell the people of Kikuyu to vote him out.
No,
they should just vote him out.
Gachagua is not the leader of Kikuyu. Gachagua is the leader of people, and inclusive of those people is Mount Kenya. So if the people of Kikuyu are saying in Kikuyu, if the people of Kikuyu are saying we don't want Kimani Ichung'wah, it is the responsibility of the leader to tell the rest of the mountain that, and it is not only Kimani Ichung'wah.
Who elected Gachagua to be the leader of Mount Kenya?
Political processes
Which
itself.
one?
Let me tell you, power is taken, my friend.
Can I get a say in this?
I also want to say
so that in a minute, put this close to you, Paul.
I will
summarize. Jagero and Mulamba, you are being told by the people.
I will summarize it in statements.
No, we've given you time. One.
But you've been speaking the whole time. I want to after Mulamba, I want to go to your supporter.
And I think it's unfair you giving me 1 minute and Jeff has had 15.
Okay.
I didn't get at least
all right. Have to.
Unless you guys are afraid of me. One,
I'm on your side.
Rigathi Gachagua wants to be Raila Odinga so bad.
Okay.
He has said it before. Rigathi Gachagua, even before he formed DCP, had an intention of coming up with a party that would rival ODM or rise to the status of ODM. He has said it before. He has said he envies the ODM party and the work that Raila has been able to do. Before I get to my rebuttal, let me
do not stray.
Hey, I am on this conversation.
Okay.
When Gachagua had the chance to agitate for the reinstatement of Sonu, he did not.
Okay.
Two,
my God.
When Gachagua was absent in the clamor for multipartism that he enjoys today.
Okay.
DCP is a product of multipartism. I don't need to remind you that he opposed this struggle for multipartism. He was in bed with the government then.
Okay.
Gachagua was a sycophant of Moi, and this has gotten us to the problem today. When students and student leaders were opposed to the heavy-handedness of Moi then, Rigiji supported Moi and Kanu. And we're having this conversation of Gachagua today because we've not learned from the past. We are still exalting and enthroning the wrong leaders, those that have set us on the wrong path.
The question that I asked you, Mulamba, is why does Jeff think that that Rigathi Gachagua is the leader of Mount Kenya?
Yes,
because they also have Uhuru that is bankrolling them.
I'm getting to that.
They also have Uhuru to whom Gachagua had to go and send a report to. No, he said.
I'm getting to that.
He said that I have collected.
I'll allow Mulamba to speak.
I have collected voices from the larger Mount Kenya, and I'm going to put a report before Uhuru Kenyatta. Hey, Linda Mwananchi, did you not say that?
So saying something like that.
Yes.
So as I was addressing myself to this conversation,
okay,
I started by saying we have not ended the legacy of tribalism, even with the new era of Sifuna.
Yeah.
And this era of tribalism is exactly what Gachagua is perpetrating today. He has no business being the leader of the Eastern region, the Coastal region, the Rift Valley region, the Western region, the Nyanza region, the Rift Valley region. He does not even care. His sole preoccupation is with Mount Kenya, so that he has enough shares to bargain with on any table. I would not be surprised if Gachagua joins Ruto. Because now he has a party, he has shares,
would you say there is a difference between Gachagua and Ruto?
There is no difference. That's what I'm saying. I would not be surprised if they join forces. And before I get to that, Jeff said that there has the conversation on tribalism has been here before. And the conversation on personality politics has been here before. But then I have two questions. One, that evils and ills happened in the past. Does then that give us a license to sanitize them today?
That's the question I was asking.
Two.
Thank you for asking that question. And I would like Adrian to answer that question.
Is it realistic for us to move on from the conversation of personalities, given that in Kenya, political parties do not have ideologies? They subscribe to what the party leader wants. I'm speaking from a point of a former member of a political party that had a cult-like personality, that is Wiper. And the dictates of the party leader carried the day, just like the dictates of Rigathi Gachagua now appear to carry the day in Mount Kenya. And you cannot then advise us to detach ourselves from discussing that personality if the personality is the ideology, if the personality is
what is the ideology of Rigathi Gachagua?
The ideology of Rigathi Gachagua is Mount Kenya must bow to me. I must be the biggest leader here, and they must listen to me.
Okay.
You see how happy they are that Irungu Kangata has walked into DCP. If Irungu Kangata had decamped to ODM or to Wiper, Jubilee or any other party, you would see the backlash coming from Gachagua and DCP. Given to them, it would be a betrayal because he has gone to a party that does not belong to their region. And it is the same bullying I see with Ndindi Nyoro. You remember Gachagua has belabored this so many times that Ndindi Nyoro needs to pick a side. By picking a side, it does not give him a choice. It is not like he's giving him an option of deciding to be part of Linda Mwananchi or United Opposition.
Yeah.
He essentially is saying, you need to come to DCP.
Can I ask you a question?
And it is the same
Can I ask you a question? Now that he has taken that the green coffee and put on the head of Irungu Kangata, is he going to allow nominations in Kiambu?
There might be nominations in Kiambu if the public push for nominations. If they don't push for nominations, Irungu Kangata is going to get a direct ticket. But Irungu Kangata has performed.
Yes.
That should be the baseline of this conversation. With or without nominations, if he vies with the DCP party, he is going to win.
So Irungu Kangata also fears that he does not go to DCP, the people will not care.
If he does not go to DCP, he is going to lose. Those MPs that were anti-UDA from the central region in 2022, Sawdust, Premium Kivumbi, and those that were anti-Jubilee, can we
play the video on Irungu Kangata on Gachagua? That video number 3.
Those MPs that were anti-Jubilee.
Let's play that video. Is it there?
It's not personal for me. If you don't like Gachagua, that's fine.
I think
Can I say something before he gets the video?
The video is there.
Okay.
Lakini Waswahili walisema penye wazee apaharibiki, chambilecho wahenga penye wazee apaharibiki. Wewe Sifuna, hata kama unaenda safari hiyo, tafutana na Wamunyoro. Iko watu wanafikiria wakianza vita na Wamunyoro wataweza kuensure huyu kijana hataweza kuconsolidate other regions, lakini wanafanya hesabu mbaya. Siasa ya kupiga watu wa region, let's say kama Wamunyoro, huwa ina make sense wakati sisi tuko na presidential candidate. Saizi mimi sioni. So meaning sisi tunazunguka tu tukitafuta mahali ya kuangukia, na tukianguka milioni 4. So hiyo siasa ya kupiga Wamunyoro hai make sense. Ni kama kuingia kwa, ushaenda kwa hoteli, unaitisha chakula, baadaye uitisha waiter, unaitisha watchman. Wewe itisha waiter, mwenye ako na chakula ni serikali. Kuanzia siasa ya Kenya ifanyike, ni kiongozi yupi wa ODM amekuja Mount Kenya anafanya mkutano na watu wanatokea isipokuwa Sifuna? Hakuna. Ni kiongozi yupi anaenda Kisii watu wanatokea, anaenda Kajiado watu wanatokea, anaenda Mombasa anajaza stadium, anaenda Kisumu anajaza stadium, na hajakuja Bungoma kwao? Huyu kijana mahali anaenda, ukitaka, wajua kuna semekana Waswahili wanasema dalili ya mvua, mimi nikirusha mbali naona huyu kijana akienda mbali. Fikiria mimi ni governor.
If you look at those conversations, Mr. Mulamba, and this is what I'm asking you, is that you can feel that his heart is in Linda Mwananchi, but his reality is in Wamunyoro.
Irungu Kangata finds himself in a difficult situation, just like Winnie Odinga.
Okay.
Orengo put it aptly.
Okay.
That the body of Winnie Odinga might be with the Linda ground.
Okay.
But our spirit lies elsewhere. You already know what that meant. This is the same situation with Irungu Kangata. He's never been obsessed with Gachagua. I don't even think they are friends to that level. He has not seen that persona in Gachagua. He has not seen that national leader in Gachagua. And he has seen that in Edwin Sifuna. So he wants to support Linda Mwananchi, but because he wants to be re-elected, he has to choose DCP ama aone premium kivumbi. And that is sanitization of tribalism 101. And I'm faulting the Mount Kenya region. You will excuse me for this. You guys need to change. And I know this has to be said for the other regions, but because we are discussing Mount Kenya and Gachagua today, I need to advise my people from Mount Kenya. Mimi hata sitawaita cousins, even though I'm from the eastern region. But this culture has to stop. You cannot choose leaders merely by their affiliation, by their political parties, and whether they bow to certain political kingpins. That has to change. If you are anti-Jubilee when Uhuru was president, you would not become a leader in Mount Kenya. By that I mean you would not get elected. If you are anti-UDA in 2022, you would not get elected. If you are anti-DCP in 2027, you will not get elected. And that's the problem we need to fix. That today, if I'm vying on another party that is not Wiper, I will not clinch that seat in 2027. If I'm vying on a different party, which is not ODM, in the Nyanza and Western region, I will not get that seat. And if I'm not vying using the UDA ticket in the Rift Valley region, I am not going to get elected. And that is exactly what we need to change.
This is what you have always fought for. And I'm very frustrated with you specifically because you bended the knee so much.
Has it changed?
You bended the knee so much.
Where has it bent? My position on principle has never changed. When I sit in a boardroom and they talk about working with Gachagua, I'm the first person to say
no, I'm not talking about Gachagua. What is frustrated about that 2024 June was supposed to cure this disease?
Has it changed? Whom am I supporting right now? Am I supporting a tribal kingpin? Is Sifuna tribal kingpin?
Probably because Raila is dead.
Has
so
Sifuna been?
Nobody in Luanyanza.
Has Sifuna been?
So you want
to ever support Raila Molo Odinga?
Calling Adrian tribal? Is that what you're doing?
Has been the most least tribal person.
Yeah.
They are the ones who accuse me of not being a Luo, despite the fact that I'm a Luo, just because I do not agree with the Luos. And you know, one of the points that I actually wanted to answer you, you know, every time I've now noticed a pattern with Jagero. Every time he talks about Gachagua, he must always mention that at one particular point, I went to Nyeri and I saw the roads that I've not been seeing in Nyanza. Let me tell you one thing, Jagero.
Which? I didn't go to Mount Kenya.
Is it a lie?
You've talked about it, but
the Kikuyu analogy you gave, the story about
they are having roads there and not having roads in Luo Nyanza.
But is it a fact?
It's a fact.
It is a fact, but let me also tell you one thing, Jagero.
And I did not draw parallels with the Luo nation when I was talking about those. I was basically every argument was within the mountain. Why are you twisting that?
What does he imply when he says that there are roads there?
He implies tribal sovereignty.
He's asking.
No. Wait. You cannot afford to throw me under the bus. You know what I was talking about.
That is the reason why you forced Wesley to answer. Why is it that the
Kikuyu people? What you do?
That is why. What is the reason why Kikuyu people choose leaders who work for them, and that is the reason why they have the development there.
Yes.
In fact, I keep saying that Luos don't have the entitlement to talk about underdevelopment in their region when they have consistently failed to account and criticize the leaders that they elect there locally. The person who is accredited so much about bringing up devolution in this country is Raila Amolo Odinga. But for the past 20 years, the person who has prevented this devolution from actually working for the Nyanza people was Raila Amolo Odinga. So you Luo people, you have failed to even account for your own leaders.
Why are you looking at me while talking about Luo people?
Jagero, you Luo people, you have failed to account for the local leaders that you've elected today, such that you cannot criticize them because you're supporting a particular party leader who, when he raises his hands and he says that this is what is supposed to happen, you guys have to follow. So you guys cannot talk about underdevelopment when it comes to Luo Nyanza. If the Kikuyu people are more aggressive when it comes to their politics, they decide that we are going to actually tell our leader this is what you are supposed to do for us, and they do that, and they make those beautiful roads that you see in Nyanza or Kikuyu. That is them.
I totally agree with you.
Yes,
I totally agree with
so
you. And you in as far as Udu Jagero is concerned, I'm not one of those people. Just like I have never been a supporter of Raila Odinga precisely because of that issue. That he has been the biggest impediment to the development of Luo Nyanza. And I think this will follow Raila and his family. And it was not just Raila Odinga. It was his father.
Then why would you always want to allude to selective development of the Kikuyu region more than the Nyanza region?
No. You are comparing apples and oranges, my brother.
No. You alluded to that.
There is development that is sanctioned and done by the national government where Raila does not have any say. And those are two. When you are talking about, and that is the reason why there was devolution, so that this tribalism, some of the tribal things that were happening could lessen. And for me, if you ask me about Luo Nyanza, I will tell you that there are two distinct issues going on there. There was the economic sabotage by the national government. And then there was number two, the economic sabotage of the leaders of Luo Nyanza. So there are two issues.
But who comes first?
In as far as those roads that I'm seeing in Kikuyu, by the way, are not done by Ishungwa. They are done by the national government.
No, most of the roads are not done by the national government.
No, there are classes of roads in this country. And there's particular roads. The road that is coming from Rosgeti all the way to Suswa is not done. It's done by the national government. The road that is coming from the other end and crisscrossing, that entire area has got almost 6 types of roads, and most of them are done by the national government.
So there's no roads that are being done by the national government in Luo Nyanza.
There are roads that have been done by the national government, but not to the extent that they have been done in Mount Kenya. Remember, Mount Kenya started doing that with Kenyatta 1.
Can you factualize it?
They started doing that then with Kibaki. And then Uhuru did some of those things. Now, that's a different issue. When the bonuses were being given to the coffee farmers, they were not being given to the cotton farmers, the sugarcane farmers, and the rice farmers in the Nyanza region. Those are facts, okay? But then now we climb down from the national government and we go to the regional, to the people that are there, that were supposed to. For example, your own party leader in Linda Mwananchi has been given almost 40 billion by the national government.
Leader in Linda Mwananchi?
That is Orengo. He's using that money to hire choppers for Linda Mwananchi.
Orengo is not a party leader for Linda Mwananchi. Orengo,
he put it on his Facebook account and said that he's party leader.
Orengo
and the money
he's
from
a party
Siaya
leader for
is being used to
ODM.
hire helicopters.
Orengo said he's taking over as the party leader for
that
ODM, not Linda
and
Mwananchi.
that money that is using to gallivant all over the country with Linda Mwananchi is for the people of Siaya.
Orengo has stated that he will vie for presidency.
That is the money.
Nobody in Linda Mwananchi is supporting him.
That is the money.
You keep raising that
That
point,
is the
and
money
I belong
that
to
should
Linda
be
Mwananchi.
taking care of agriculture.
That is not happening.
That is the money that should be taking care of agriculture. And so when we are talking about the idea of Luo Nyanza politicians, that's a different issue. The issue is that Wanga has been given almost 60 billion by the national government. She has not done anything with it. While Irungu Kangata has done what he was supposed to do with the money and even more. When we go to Migori, Sinakuru Kukulubanga Dogman, all right, has not done anything with the mining in Migori, has not done anything with the money that he has collected. We go to Kisumu, and Nyang'nyong has only swept the road called Ogingodinga Street that was named after his brother and friend Raila Odinga, all right, and has done nothing. Those are two issues that we are talking about and we are prosecuting. So
Jagiro,
that is the thing.
Let me just ask a question, because the inference you make is based off highly, I don't know what to call them, but Adrian has consistently asked you, and when you hear Adrian ask you that, is because us lawyers have a leaning to what you can actually tangibly prove.
Yeah.
And I will tell you this, if your inference was correct, then we would not be speaking of the Southern Rift Valley region not having development. You understand? The reason why I bring this up is because Moi was a president for 24 years, right? Moi was a president for 24 years. Ruto so far has been a president for 4 years. So collectively, the Kalenjin nation has had a president for 28 years. And I really want to restrict myself out of this conversation of presidents being reduced to tribe. But if those 28 years were supposed to amount to nationally sanctioned projects, then the Kalenjin nation, parts of the Kalenjin nation should not be as underdeveloped as they are. I think
Kalenjin nation is a different
No, you cannot. If you give us a principle, there's a principle in law we call the reasonable man's test.
Yes.
If we set that today the reasonable man is a man of the stature of Adrian.
Yes.
For these particular types of cases, say contract issues, you cannot then tomorrow come and give us a different reasonable man. We have to stick to that. So you cannot tell us that for Mount Kenya, there is development because the national government sanctioned it. But for the 28 years of presidency that the Kalenjin nation has had a president, then we are saying also that we cannot use the same test for it.
I think that's a misleading statement.
No, it's not a misleading statement. I'm just taking a fact from one side and a fact from another side. If there are, then your inference would try and assume that if you get a president who happens to be from your region, then your region should experience development, a lot of it.
You don't agree with that statement?
I do agree to an extent, but then the reason why I'm saying your inference, the reason why I'm saying your inference becomes weak is because the two are not aligning. Mount Kenya, you are saying that they had a president, let's say for how many years? Is it 20 plus 16?
It's a lot
36,
of years.
36 years. They experienced exponential growth. Why in 28 years have we not seen the same?
In Kalenjin land.
Yes.
Because they were not interested.
That's what I'm telling you. When you go down that road, Jagero, it becomes a question of you assuming that it is a straight line between presidency and development. It is not. The reason why I brought up attrition rates in Mount Kenya is because Mulamba, hold on. You'll get your time. The reason why I brought up attrition rates in Mount Kenya, and the reason why we do not recycle MPs, is because we understand an MP is a custodian of leadership. You are not an owner of it. Because if we start making you the owner, we will start seeing MPs who have been in terms for 5 terms and they still have no development record to show, but just because they have been elected by our small clan community, then they stay in leadership with no development to show because the clan is happy. But unfortunately for us, we don't work like that. We understand you have your contract with us is 4 years and 6 months. At 4 years and 6 months, if we feel one, you have failed on your representative democracy, wewe kwanza unaenda. Ya pili, we understand that hata ukienda tutapata mtu mwingine anaweza tuletea maendeleo. It does not matter. For us, we know that we are not short of leaders in Mount Kenya. That is why I am telling you, as much as you do, you could have some validity in your point when you say that there is an inclination towards the national development agenda. It is not a 100% straight line between presidency and development. It cannot be, because MPs are in that house that does budgets and wanagawa pesa ya nchi wakiwa hapo. Yes. So kama MP wako amelala huko somewhere huko kwenyu, what do you call your place huko? Kama huko ndio amelala, hiyo ni mambo yake. Hiyo sio mambo ya watu wa Mount Kenya.
Yeah,
Mulete kwa mambo ya Mount Kenya kwa your leadership failing.
Okay, fair enough. See, Mulamba, what do you have to say? He has
Mulamba, again, you have been told, let Jeff speak.
Yes, but you have spoken.
But I'll give it you time. Okay. There's a binary. There's a binary to Central in that, one, he's right, there's an attrition rate in Central of legislators. They send them home. That cannot be argued against. But that same Central and other regions send home legislators and elected leaders if they don't conform. That is, if they don't bow down to that kingpin.
No, representation.
If they don't bow down to a certain kingpin, or they are not part of his party. There are so many leaders in this country we've not gotten a chance to enjoy their leadership because they did not bow down to Raila Odinga.
Yes.
They did not bow to to Uhuru Kenyatta, to Kalonzo Musyoka, and the list goes on. There are so many leaders who would have delivered change and transition and transformative leadership in Kisii and will not get a chance if they don't support Matiang'i. For Christ's sake, Morara is in Jubilee, singing heaps of praises to Matiang'i, the same guy who was disparaging just because he wants a ticket from Jubilee, and that Matiang'i is a Kisii. That is the political reality Jeff is mentioning. But I'm asking, is it correct?
No,
it might not be correct, but it is reality.
Should we worship this?
And this is what they keep saying, that the political reality, politics is local, but the country is suffering.
The political reality from 1983 to 1991 was that Kenya was a one-party state, because Moi came with Section 2A that was discussed in Parliament, I guess, and passed, that took us back to 1963 when Kenya had one political party. The political reality changed in 1992 when by we I mean those of us who are still in opposition, those of us who are still on the side of the people, Akina James Orengo, let me be precise with it, Raila Odinga, and the rest of them all fought Section 2A and edit repealed.
You can imagine.
In 1992, the political reality was Kenya is a multi-party.
And then in 2005, Raila starts ODM and makes it a one-party state in Lowland.
So political realities can change.
What?
Point is, we have to want it.
Okay, can we go forward?
We have to push for it.
Are you okay?
Let's go forward.
You're okay.
Just that I wonder, when Mulamba talks about the people, I wonder which people, because that I come from a people who tell me what they think, and I also represent them.
You should not forget, Jeff, that leaders, apart from giving directions, also exist to make decisions. And part of the roles of leaders is to guide the people and the community to the right direction. Leaders are not supposed to take people where the people want to go. I know that has been discussed in so many fora. But what if the people want to avenge murder? What if the people want to sanitize theft and corruption? What is the place of leaders in correcting this?
You need them to educate your electorate.
People.
Because when I've said we follow the people, is because, again, Article 1 of the Constitution says power belongs to the people.
And if those people are wrong, we have a duty to educate them and correct them.
The reason why
Jeff here is a leader.
Let me tell you, the reason
I have
why
not seen him take time to educate the people of Central.
Let me tell you
that it is wrong to worship Gachagua.
Neither has he condemned the words of Gachagua.
Let me tell you, subscribe to DCP.
Let me tell you,
and to political kingpinship.
No, you cannot. That
is without end.
Let me tell you, Jagero, that is Mulamba's perspective.
It is a perspective of so many young people.
Allow me to finish. I'm allowed you to finish.
Okay.
That is his perspective.
Mulamba chill.
Yes, Mulamba, take a chill pill. Stop crashing out, as you would say. But
Mulamba is very frustrated on your behalf.
He is, and I understand his frustrations completely.
Okay.
Because I've said, I started the contextualization of this thing in that it's an ideal versus reality conversation. And I understand Mulamba completely. If Mulamba wants to be elected with these ideals, he better pick a very cosmopolitan constituency that will accommodate those ideals. Because when you go to the realities, I have told you, I cannot attempt to speak for Mulembe Nation because they have their realities. And let me tell you one thing. Article 1 says power belongs to the people. How that power is exercised is directly and indirectly. He likes this point a lot even when he talks on TikTok. And one of the ways of indirectly exercising power is representative democracy. So you are a creation directly of the people you represent, who again, without losing the point, have the power. So if my people in Mount Kenya tell me, because he keeps on mentioning that good leaders that we did not experience, but the people told you clearly, go here, and you decide you do not want to go here. Am I accepting that we should maybe have a bit of flexibility in some of these things? Of course, in an ideal world it works, but in a real world, we have seen the fruits of us following a particular direction. As I have said, when we have MPs who belong to a certain party, I'm telling you, even with those political kingpins that he alleges and he talks about, those people still do not go 2 terms, a lot of them. Because you being in that formation that the people want you to be in does not guarantee you. So in this first 5 years, you enter parliament under what he is calling political kingship, right? If you do not work within those 4 years and 6 months, my friend, the next time you're not going to get it. So it is not really, you cannot always excuse yourself using that narrative.
I think Centro is uneven, going by what Jeff is saying. From where I come from, I have members of parliament who have served for more than 4 consecutive terms, delivering nothing.
Exactly. You're making my point
from the Nyanza region, I know of members of parliament and I guess senators who are going into their 4th and 3rd term, delivering nothing. And we thought that we would change
this. Party leader is one of them.
Which party leader?
We thought we would change this. Somebody has even quoted here and said, even Wangare Maathai did not get a 2nd term.
So I am bringing this conversation because it appears there is an exception in Mount Kenya. But that ideal situation in Mount Kenya is not so ideal in the rest of the country. There are leaders in the coastal region who are elected or re-elected time and again without number for delivering nothing, just because they are politically correct with the political kingpin of that area and they belong to the political party of that region, and we've not killed that kind of thinking. And it is incumbent on us as young people to teach our peers, our parents, relatives, girlfriends, exes on how to vote better, want better, and live for better. Because we've not done that.
Can we play the video by Sifuna? You have got the pictures, right? You've got the pictures. Of today's
saying Mulamba is very raw in Kenyan politics.
It's very raw.
I have been in politics since
so people of the internet,
I am just tired by what we have. We need to change
I see your frustration, and I'm very frustrated on your behalf that your fellow Gen Zs that was supposed to be as angry as you are having the best part of the best season of their life.
It appears Ruto should not go. I mean, we don't even need that change.
Okay.
Because if we are worshipping the likes of Gachagua, then what then is the difference? They are cut from the same clock. They were student leaders back then who enabled.
Are you blaming Gachagua for being born?
No. Nitafuta kura. Na wakati ule nilikuwa na majina mengi ambayo baba alikuwa amenipatia. Nilikuwa naitwa katibu mkuu wa chama cha ODM. Nilikuwa naitwa naibu kiranja wa walio wachache kwenye bunge la Senate. Lakini baada ya baba kuaga, nzige wakaingia ndani ya chama cha ODM. Wameninyang'anya kila kitu ambayo baba yangu marehemu baba aliniwachia. Wameninyang'anya SG, wameninyang'anya naibu kiranja. Lakini kwa sababu Mungu ni mkuu, mimi najua chini ya miezi 12 yote ambayo imeliwa na nzige nitarejesha. Najua nani ameninyang'anya hiyo vitu yote? Anaitwa nani? Na ndio maana sisi kama Linda Mwananchi tumesema hatutapambana na hawa nzige wadogo. Tunaendea ile nzige iko State House kule juu ili tuweze kusafisha nchi hii yetu.
him and Otieno would have enjoyed if it was Uhuru. And Owini.
What the hell is surely? So that is the people of the internet. That is the gentleman. That's the gentleman, Mr. Sifuna, the party leader. Is he the party leader of Linda Mwananchi?
You're now nagging me with that question. No. Say he's the leader of the Linda Mwananchi movement. That is enough.
Okay, the leader.
Don't stop asking about parties.
I was thinking about the same today, and I think Sifuna is quite crafty.
Okay.
Where did this idea of carrying a flag come from? I know he's patriotic, just like the rest of us.
Okay.
That is not into dispute.
Okay.
But does this then mean he's automatically the flag bearer?
Yeah.
He has been bearing the flag for as long as I remember.
Yeah.
So where then does that place
Orengo how is that being crafty?
That is not.
He is smart.
How is that being crafty?
Okay, let me correct my wording. He is smart.
Okay.
He started playing this game. He started playing the finals.
But there is no difference between craftiness and smartness. Is there lawyers in the room?
He started playing the finals before we were done with round of 32.
Yes.
Before we go to the quarterfinals. He already emerged as the flag bearer.
But the question I want to ask you, Mr. Mulamba, is why is Sifuna in the Western region? Do you think that he's going to is becoming a kingpin?
As I said before,
okay,
I do not find it amusing that traditional elders have to bless Sifuna so that he gets credibility or legitimacy to vie for the presidency. And if they have to, then how about we have elders from the coastal region coronating him? Does it have to be elders from the Western region? Does Sifuna need to get an endorsement from Western leaders so as to carry favor with the Kenyan people? Does then that give him the legitimacy to vie for the presidency? So if the Western leaders decide they will not endorse Sifuna, does then that take off some bonga points from him? And does that then take off wind from his sails? If Sifuna was being endorsed for the presidency in the Eastern region, or in the Northeastern region, or in the coastal region, or Rift Valley itself, that would carry more weight, and it would, or even in Nairobi, Hapa Uhuru Park, that would carry more weight than being endorsed in the Western region, because it appears this is the first official endorsement, and it has to come from Western Kenya. Why not any other region? I think you have reduced a national leader to a regional leader.
I think
he's
Mr. Mulamba here
becoming Gachagua.
Mr. Mulamba here
he's becoming a Gachagua.
Mr. Mulamba here is doing what we call good facts and bad facts speaking.
They're all bad facts.
So he has picked his good facts. And his good fact is that Sifuna is going to get endorsement from Mulembe Nation. But this one has been christened as a homecoming. A home, what happens when you come from home?
Yeah.
You're coming from home because you have been elsewhere.
Okay.
So Sifuna started in Kitengela, went to Mulolongo, went to Thika, went to other places, and then he went home. So what he is doing is ignoring the bad facts, because he wants us to believe that today is the first day Sifuna is holding a rally that he is talking about, only because it suits his point that he has gone for a coronation. But in real sense, let me tell you, I don't want to belabor that point because I've already dispensed with it. But the truth of the matter is, Mulamba wants us to believe that in your family, if you have a smart child, the neighbors should first of all recognize the first child before the mother and the father do.
Okay.
But unfortunately, that's not how it works.
All right.
You have to take your report card home first,
all right,
so that they tell you kijana wetu you are doing well. And then when they are going out there wakifua nguo wakianika mambo zao, ndio wanasema by the way kijana wangu alikuwa namba 1 shuleni. And unfortunately, as I've said, Mulamba is only addressing the effect of Kenyan politics. The moment he starts talking about the cause, and I have said,
but I have discussed the cause.
Just a minute, good sir. Just a minute, good sir.
The cause here is that we are short of other simple political mobilization unit, the simplest unit of political mobilization.
Okay.
We do not have a variety of it, and I will give you an example in jurisdictions like the American states.
Okay.
When a presidential candidate is going to campaign all over the 40, how many states are there? 47?
47, I believe. 52, I think.
52. Thank you for that correction. So when
states
he's in America, how many are there?
55.
55. Thank you. if he is moving to Washington, D.C., he has to appeal to the big boys of finance there.
Okay.
So you have to speak the financial language.
All right.
That is a political mobilization unit.
All right.
If you go to another place where they believe in the amendment that allows for gun rights to be prevalent, you have to appeal to them.
All
that
right.
is their security matter. If you go somewhere else where it's a Latin-speaking community and they want to uphold their culture, speak that language.
Or immigration.
So yes, there are very many different simple political mobilization units. In Kenya, we lack those. And that's why I also told you previously that when we sat down in 2025 and decided that, and 2024 that we decided on 25th June that this is not working for us, the old order of politics was very scared because now there was emerging a different simple political mobilization unit that they do not relate to or cannot control, which was the Gen Z.
Okay.
That is why unaskianga, even in workplaces, how a Gen Z politician was saying, wale Gen Z, because they did not understand that fraction. But the moment now you put yourself in a position of vulnerability, of lacking leadership and political direction to a point, and your moral conviction is what is driving your urge for change, then they take advantage. That is why you saw when Baba had a handshake, people were very mad because they said Baba betrayed them. And the actors of then would say, but Baba was not even part of your movement. And it became a back and forth between Gen Z and those political actors then, because they were not trying to act like that did not happen. They were just trying to dilute the basic mobilization unit of politics that was emerging.
Okay.
And so you box them into non-existence, and then you go back to what you're used to. That is why we are discussing regions and tribes. That is why Mulamba here is so agitated when Sifuna has gone to Western. It is not because that he does not know that is the reality. It is because the opportunity we had to introduce a new demographic of voting, we squandered it to a certain degree. It is only now for us.
And I think the frustration that Mulamba is having is that the swamp, the old order, which was obviously afraid of this unit, which is the Gen Z, have suddenly figured them out.
They have not figured them out. And I will tell you that because I exist in a party. You look at the parties that exist today. Okay. There is a lot of consideration of what young people are saying. And it has always been there, but previously, because I have had some experience in political leadership, it has been very performative. But even in the opposition, and I will say this with authority, when you sit down with the principals, they tell you, these people who were not voters in 2022, walikimbiza Ruto hivi na hawakumpigia kura. If by any chance they give us their mandate and we do not do what they want, we will face it rougher than Ruto. It is them who say they know. So they have not figured them out, but they understand both the potential and the danger that this demographic represents. So you are seeing parties shift to try and act towards catering to that new demographic. Okay. That is why I can tell you in DCP, we have over 1,000 young people, Gen Zs, who are looking for MCAs and MP seats and senatorial seats.
It is very interesting. That is very interesting because what happened to Kariuki?
Which
in Kalau? Timothy Kariuki, which was a Gen Z, got 51 votes.
Let me tell you, it is not because of that. You cannot classify his 50 votes to him being a Gen Z. It is not purely about that. It's that there was an overarching narrative there. Okay. And I told you, it is called the second order of analyzing by elections, where the local residents, again, choose what is a low-risk platform to send a high-impact message to the national government. So this one had its own second order of analyzing. So it's not about him, because there were other Gen Zs in that race. There were other young people. And when you look at that, it speaks to what I'm saying, Jagiro, that we have an opportunity moving forward. And that's why I'm saying he might be stuck on ideals, but we need people like him to remind us when push comes to shove and another opportunity arises, this is what we need. And people should not shy away from political solutions to moral convictions. There are parties that have that. In the West, there are liberal and conservatives. Those are moral convictions first.
Okay, now I want to ask you this other question, because before we played this gentleman, Mr. Babu Wino, all right, Adrian's political godfather, and he was saying that he's the party leader, Did you hear that?
I had
that. That he's saying that he's the party leader, and he's asked by Mwakideu who is going to be the Secretary General. He does not say the name. He simply says that person is going to be coming from Western region. The assumption here is that would be Sifuna, correct? All right, and then he's asked about the chairman, but he's mute on the same. Okay, so that is what we have. Then Sifuna comes and says that, look, kila mwamba ngoma uvutia kwake. What is that? How does it go?
Mwamba ngoma uvutia kwake. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah, he's sort of suggesting that everybody is trying to fight for their space.
True.
Right? And then we have Orengo, again, his grandfather, is having a Facebook post where he has got a beautiful T-shirt. And this T-shirt is written...
Party leader.
Party leader. Okay? We have Irungu Kangata, right? Who was supposed to give them that oomph, should he have stayed. All right?
Yeah.
Taking off to Wamunyoro. Okay? And we have Pauline Njoroge resigning from Jubilee. And can you make tail and head for me? What is going on?
I'll speak on this very shortly so that the other two gentlemen can also give their
opinions.
I'm going to
Adrian.
Especially Adrian, because he is in that political formation.
Yeah.
But you have to understand from an outsider looking in, as a person who enjoys what Linda Mwananchi does, because we're hunting a very dangerous animal. You have to knock it on the head, another one disables the leg, and all that.
This animal is the government.
Yes.
It's Ruto.
So now...
It's Ruto.
And his government. So think of Linda Mwananchi as a very big compound.
Okay.
Which has very many different houses, and those houses have very different rooms.
Okay.
Remember, in Linda Mwananchi, they have a common goal, but you should never assume that it is a homogeneous way to go there. Because there are people in that camp who are for Babu, purely for governor.
For Baba?
For Babu.
For Babu.
For governor.
Okay.
There are people there in Linda Mwananchi who are from the People's Renaissance Movement.
All right.
That is
the ones that were agitating and were trying to get out.
Yes.
Okay.
That is Caleb Amis's party. There are people who are there purely because of Sifuna, and there are others who are there for other different people. So you have to understand that each of these people will pull towards their different directions. So when Babu speaks and says chama itakuja na yeye ndio party leader, meanwhile in the same Prado or somewhere near there is Orengo with a t-shirt written party leader, he might not be speaking of the same party. In Linda Mwananchi there is PM.
What is
People's Renaissance Movement?
Yes.
They abbreviate it to PM.
Okay.
Babu might form his own party. Sifuna might decide that this is going to be the party, all housed under Linda Mwananchi. And it is not a strange occurrence, Jagero. I don't know why you have a shocked facial expression, because even in Kenya Kwanza, there were many parties that housed themselves under the Kenya Kwanza coalition.
You know why I'm shocked? It's because you are speaking as if Linda Mwananchi is actually a coalition.
It is a conglomeration of people with different ideas that might formulate themselves into parties.
Okay,
that's why I'm saying.
Then if I go with the route that you're taking, I am then assuming that it becomes even a bigger headache for everybody else in United Opposition. Because then they have to agree within Linda Mwananchi, they have to be one. Then after they are one, and that is how they move out as a unit to look for Matiang'i's Jubilee, look for Wiper, to look for Wamunyoro.
That agreement you're talking about, you are thinking about it in a very one-dimensional way.
Okay.
Because if Babu has a party that might cater to the interest of his gubernatorial ambitions, that's okay. That's him, right? So long as they agree, Linda Mwananchi is a convoy of people who are geared towards taking William Ruto home.
The question I'm asking you is this. If we have, let's say, 4 parties within Linda Mwananchi, and they have to negotiate and come up with one with one presidential candidate, it means that either they are coming out at different parties and going into this bigger hall or this bigger conference room that has got DCP, that has got DP, that has got Wiper, that has got... Do you agree? Or do you think that from Linda Mwananchi, they're coming out to meet their colleagues outside the United Opposition?
I mean, again, I think you're applying a bit of a very high standard of an outcome you want to see.
No.
In United Alternative Government, there is DAP, DCP, WIPA, DP, and PLP.
Yes.
Right? What is their agreement? I'll just ask you a question. What is the agreement now?
The only agreement I know is that Ruto must go home.
Thank you. And then, in the other side, ya Kenya Kwisha, you have UDA.
Kenya Kwisha?
Yes. Kenya Kwisha. You have UDA. You have ODM. You have UDM. So why are you treating Linda Mwananchi as if they're supposed to operate by some different set of rules where everybody has a homogeneous thinking?
I think you are dishonest.
I'm not dishonest. I'm just saying from Linda Mwananchi, there exists people with different thought processes.
But do you see the quagmire that I am alluding to?
I am seeing it, and it's the same quagmire in the United Alternative Government. And the only reason this quagmire is not experienced in the other side, the Kenya Kwisha side, is because they already know who their presidential candidate is. But everything else, the rules are the same. We are going to compete for all other seats equally. If either of these movements had the same luxury as what Kenya Kwisha has, then you would find that we will not be having
so
this
then
discussion.
One last question that I want to ask you, and I'm going to pose the same question to the question I want to ask you is, so why is everybody speaking a different language within Linda Mwananchi? Because Sifuna is saying we have not agreed on anything, but Babu is saying that he's going ahead and forming a party and he's going to be the party leader. The gentleman is saying that he's the party leader. This guy is saying that Sifuna is the leader. He does not say party leader, but he says the leader. What does that make? How does that make you a little bit anxious about what is going on there? No, is it one house?
For me, and maybe this is because of my legal training, when you go to present a case in court, there are what you call issues for determination. Right? So when you're breaking down your issues for determination, there are different things you consider. And point A is separately distinct and charged differently from point B. So what I understand from Linda Mwananchi is a movement that houses people with different ideas.
That are not in agreement.
That may not be in agreement. The only overarching agreement is that we are here to send William Ruto home. Point number 2, which is the second issue for determination. How do we get there? If Babu says he's going to be the party leader of a party and Sifuna says we've not agreed on anything, to me that speaks directly that those are two different parties. And that's okay. That's how things happen, because it's not shocking me, because I think there's
having established that fact, don't you then think that this is different from what everybody from Kenyans are seeing? Kenyans are seeing one house, but it looks, according to your explanation, it seems that there is a lot of problems within that house.
The ones who are saying Sifuna atengeneze chama yake. Hapa Nairobi watu wanangoja chama ya Babu. That is what I have heard from people on the ground. So these residents you're speaking of, they don't exist in Uganda, that we are going to export this information to them. They are still here. Some of them are informing these conversations. Some of them are telling Babu, usingoje kupewa nomination na mtu, ingia chama yako, tengeneza, tutaingia hapo ndani, wewe ndio governor. Watu wengine wanaambia Sifuna, tafuta chama ya kuendea presidency. And then the Luya leaders hapo wanasema our interests are catered for here, so whichever party that Sifuna forms, we will join in. So you are looking at just a different set of issues for determination, and you're trying to collapse them into one so that you can have one answer. But that's not what happens, because that's exactly what happens in United Alternative Government. I have the responsibility only to market and sell DCP. What PLP and DCP and DP do is none of my concern. However, I am only in agreement with them that William Ruto must go. Yes.
Adrian, what's going on? You are having a harem of parties within Linda Mwananchi.
And there is nothing wrong and alarming about that.
Yeah, tell me more. In fact, tell me more about what is exactly happening there.
In fact, the only alarming thing is that you are the only one who's alarmed about it. Not any other person. And like I've consistently said, in fact, the only thing that gives us the liberty for that to actually happen without us being very worried about it is the fact that Linda Mwananchi is a movement. A movement. Like there is one specific ideology that one or many of us agree on, that Ruto must go. That is what we stand for as a Linda Mwananchi movement. But the problem is that when you dissect down to the individual aspiration of every individual, Linda Mwananchi does not give you the position and power for you to actualize it. If you want to vie for the governor right now, we have not come up with a party. Everybody has their own different ambitions in Linda Mwananchi, which is no problem. But where we meet and we agree on is the fact that nobody is going to support William Ruto under the Linda Mwananchi movement. But you also need to agree that, let me hint on something on you. Before the 2022 general election, under which party did Raila Amolo Odinga contest the presidential seat for?
In 2022.
In 2022.
2022. It was a coalition.
Wesley. Okay. Which party did Raila Amolo Odinga vie?
It was Azimio political party.
Azimio.
Yes, it was the Azimio, I don't know, Kenya One coalition party. Yeah. Why was that possible? It was possible because Section 10 of the Political Parties Act was amended in 11th February, a few months to the election, to allow that different parties can come together to form a coalition which would be considered by law under the Political Parties Act to be a party. In fact, one of the biggest proposals, this is a secret and I've already said it, one of the biggest proposals for Linda Mwananchi is to have Linda Mwananchi as a coalition political party. That if someone like Edwin Sifuna today can wake up and stand as the Linda Mwananchi coalition political party presidential candidate, but under this coalition political party, there are so many parties within. Azimio had over 15 different political parties under his umbrella. But why was the reason that Azimio did not field individual candidates for MPs or governor under the party of Azimio? It's because everyone has their own different ambitions. ODM has its ambition in Nyanza. Jubilee had its own ambition somewhere in Nairobi or Mount Kenya region. So you see, that is the ideology and the philosophy. It doesn't tear down anything. But in Azimio, most of them were in agreement that Baba was going to be the presidential candidate. So that is what I see. Right now, it might be Linda Mwananchi movement. In a few months, it might be Linda Mwananchi coalition political party with the same vision that it is Edwin Sifuna as the presidential candidate and it is William Ruto must go. But within the same coalition party, there are different parties. Babu will have his party. Let anyone else like Ndidi Nyoro have his party. Let even himself, Edwin Sifuna, have his own party. There is no problem with that. Nothing alarming about it.
I have been accused of being abstract from the comments.
Yeah.
And I need to respond to that.
Okay.
Not ever be consumed with this comment.
No.
They're going to ask crazy viewers.
I'm not responding to this because someone has written a comment I don't like. I'm representing, I am replying to this and responding to this because I think it's a conversation we need to have. As the Gen Zs, don't we all sound abstract? That is, if you've not chosen a party or a party leader.
Yeah.
The idea of tribelessness does not make sense. The idea of partylessness does not make sense. The idea of leaderlessness does not make sense. To those that cannot think of a possibility of a country that can move beyond tribalism. So you so fondly stick to what has been working.
Yeah.
You stick to that emaciated cow that has been overmilked because you don't want to buy a new one. Uwezi wachilia hiyo, hata hiyo ngombe umeipea jina yake mzuri, tuseme unaitaa kadogo. Uwezi wachilia kadogo, uwezi imagine unaweza nunua ngombe ingine itakupea maziwa na itakupea service kuliko kadogo. So we are stuck at milking the old cow as Kenyans. And that is where the problem is. Instead of referring to us, those of us who still cling to ideology and the ideal politics we want as abstract, as utopic, it should be, I think, incumbent on you to do your own self-reflection. Now, ujulize, am I still milking that old cow? Am I stuck?
I want to ask you about Linda.
Am I stuck? Do I need to change my perspective?
I want to ask you about Linda Mwananchi. You have heard what the two gentlemen have said, that they are going to coalesce into one, a group. Because so now my thinking is they want to send Ruto home. All right? I believe you also want to send Ruto home. But within Linda Mwananchi, they are going to have several parties. Babu might have his, Kaleba Misi might have his, Sifuna might have his. And so we have got...
Orengo might have his.
Orengo might have his. So we might have 5 of them in there. But I'm asking them that means that they will have to agree first as a coalition. That means that, do you think that then, DCP is going to be a member of Linda Mwananchi coalition and what is it called? Jubilee is going to be a member of Linda Mwananchi. Ama we are going to be having 2 or 3 parties coming from the United Opposition to face Ruto.
The political headache of 2027 is really mind-boggling because as we get to 2027, we might have 2 coalitions. 3 actually, given that Kenya Kwanza is already a coalition. So there is a possibility that the united opposition will cement its party members into a coalition. Linda Mwananchi will cement the fringe parties and the newly formed parties into another coalition.
Okay.
And these 2 coalitions, Linda Mwananchi and united opposition, if they see the light of day, have to pick one presidential flag bearer. And of course, that will elevate the standard of his party into a national one. And that is exactly where the headache is, because it would already be disuniting in the Linda Mwananchi brigade if the 3 of them come up with different parties. I mean, that would be the genesis of that rift. They have probably been assailable so far because they have stuck as a trio. So what then happens if all of them have a political party? Because political parties are supposed to have an agenda, and the agenda is to capture power. So how are you going to convince Orengo with his own party, which has already endorsed him as a presidential flag bearer, to capture power, that he needs to be subservient to Babu Owino and Sifuna, who are his political children? And then how are you going to convince Babu Owino, who will have his own party, if that sees the light of day, which has already endorsed him as a presidential flag bearer, because it will, and he may ditch the gubernatorial ambitions. Ambitions change overnight, by the way. People should not forget that Babu Owino first wanted to be president, and probably he did not get the endorsement and support of the nation as he had envisioned. At this time, his tide not probably aligned like Sifuna's. So I think he still has that ambition in him, and given an opportunity, would jump the gubernatorial aspiration and vision quick fast and vie for the presidency if he gets the kind of endorsement Sifuna is getting today. And then now Sifuna comes up with his own party, which wants to clinch power, and he has to first settle it amongst Caleb Amisi, who has People's Renaissance, Orengo, Babu Owino, and any other party that would be in Linda Mwananchi, before he faces the united opposition.
Yeah.
And this brings a different intricacy, in that I think Gachagua and Matiang'i might defect from the opposition and run to Ruto.
Okay.
Gachagua has insisted we should not pick a presidential flag bearer today.
Okay.
Or anytime soon. Why do you think he has that obsession with postponing this announcement?
Why?
I think he needs to have more by-elections, because he wants to show his muscle more. He wants to at least have more support in the Mount Kenya region and in the nation before we get to that.
Where are those by-elections coming from?
Probably he's alluding that Gachagua is suddenly the Grim Reaper.
We already know there are going to be by-elections between today and 2027. That is not a subject of debate, because by-elections will always be there. But Gachagua, what are you saying? There might be a by-election in here. There might be a by-election in here. There might be a by-election in here.
No, but you're reading too much into what he's actually saying. He's just saying that things happen.
Gachagua wants to get that national appeal so bad, and he hates it that political children like Sifuna are taking the spot from him.
Yes.
Him who has been in government
since 1986.
Since 1986.
Oh my
and
God.
It must get to him. In fact, Gachagua has no problem with Ruto being president. After all, he deputized him and campaigned for him and funded and bankrolled his campaign, because Ruto is his age mate.
Yes.
And because he understands patronage, and because they have an history from way back in Kanu.
I have no otherwise but to agree with you.
He would have a problem with Akina Sifuna, who are newbies, and Akina Babu Owino, but he might cut Orengo some slack, because Orengo has been in the trenches and has been in politics for as long as Gachagua has been around.
Okay.
So, if it eventually happens, and there is a discussion between Linda Mwananchi and United Opposition on who should carry the flag.
Okay.
And Gachagua, the egoistic person I know, is not picked as the presidential flag bearer. It is very likely that he will bolt.
If he is not picked and his preferred is also not picked.
Yes. You see, there is this obsession with Ruto must go that Gachagua has planted in people, let me reduce the conversation to one term. That Gachagua has planted in people that they think he genuinely hates Ruto.
Yeah, he does not.
He does not. He knew Ruto's history pre-2017. He started campaigning for Ruto, I think, in 2019. You think he didn't know who he was campaigning for? He was campaigning for his buddy. Someone they share a lot in common. People should not think this impeachment...
Do you think Gachagua was in Y92?
He wasn't, but he was in close ranks with Moi, and he dealt with opposition figures.
Was he one of the patrons of Y92?
I don't think he was a patron, but he was heavily involved in silencing critics, activists, and opposition leaders. Okay. I'm sticking myself to the facts because as part of the provincial administration, their part of mandate was enforcing law and order. It is on record that Gachagua was misused by Moi to beat MPs who did not carry favor with President Moi. If you doubt me, please Google. And he has confessed to it himself because he has been interviewed on the same. And he said, we were strictly enforcing directives from State House, from the president, from the man at the top. Wait.
Just a minute. This is very nice.
Rigathi Gachagua had an option to resign from government when he felt that the government of Moi was being unfairly dismissive and brutal on the opposition back then, including his own region, Mount Kenya. But he did not resign. And here comes another one, William Ruto, cut from the same clock, who did not resign from Uhuru's government because he was enjoying state privileges and he was making his inroads in this deep state to capture, trying to probably make a case for himself to capture power in 2022 and clearly refused to resign when he said he had been frustrated by his boss. So if you would ask me from where I sit, if Gachagua might go to William Ruto before 2027, I would answer in the affirmative because they have more in common. And the same is to be said about Matiang'i. Matiang'i has been an administrator. He understands public service. He understands dictatorship and chain of command. See, these guys did not rise to power and popularity by being pro-people,
by being a Sifuna,
grassroots activists, and by being part of trade unions like Tom Mboya. These guys got into the space they are today through patronage, clientelism, and the kind of politics I'm trying to denounce here today. Matiang'i and Gachagua have a lot in common because they are state products. They are not activists. They are not opposition figures.
Bring in Kalonzo.
And I'm not saying Kalonzo.
Can you bring in Kalonzo?
Too, because when Raila Odinga, James Orengo, Martin Shikuku, I guess, were on top of that vehicle. Raila wasn't, but he was in prison. When Orengo and Martin Shikuku were on top of that vehicle, where was Kalonzo?
He was with Moi.
Seated comfortably with Moi. There has been rumor that, I need to confirm this because I stick to facts, that Kalonzo issued a blackout on media stations. And when he was a minister for Moi, he did not have
that is the same person that is likely to deputize Sifuna.
He did not have kind words.
Or Sifuna is likely to deputize him.
He did not have kind words.
What do you think about that? What do you think about, Sifuna deputizing Kalonzo?
I think you're bombarding me with a lot of questions. Before I finish what I wanted to say, then I will get to Kalonzo.
Okay.
The familiarity of Rigathi Gachagua and Matiang'i with provincial administration, given that Matiang'i was a minister for interior, pairs them seamlessly with William Ruto. It makes them birds of the same feather. They understand cracking down dissent. They understand quashing activism and opposition. They understand state machinery, and they understand the politics of the deep state politics. I would want them to distance themselves from that legacy, but it is already cast in stone. They have served in those positions, and you cannot take away the fact that during Matiang'i's era as a minister for interior, the Riviala killings came about. You would say probably that was the work of, or probably Matiang'i should be excused and absolved from blame because he did not carry out the actual killings. But then who gave the order? He had an option to resign from government if he felt that Uhuru Kenyatta was misusing power and dealing with activists, student leaders, and opposition figures a bad hand wrongly. He had an option. He did not.
Yes.
And as I get to Kalonzo and Sifuna.
No. Yes. In 1 minute, because I want to go to Mr. Wesley.
Oh, I had forgotten.
Yeah.
There is an overlap of Mount Kenya between Gachagua and Matiang'i. Gachagua has positioned himself as the kingpin of Mount Kenya, and he has positioned himself as the gatekeeper, the one who has the key, and you cannot get to Central without going through Gachagua. I think that's why Sifuna went to beg Gachagua in that funeral to at least be allowed to get to Mount Kenya. That is the connotation I've gotten. That is the symbolism.
That is why he was begging on one knee.
Yes, as for Matiang'i, his benefactor is Uhuru Kenyatta, a kingpin in the Central region. So these guys have a lot in common with William Ruto than Sifuna and Kalonzo. As for Sifuna and Kalonzo, if you go by probably political experience, Kalonzo feels that he has been around long enough. 40 years plus. He has a political party that has 25 or 26 MPs to be precise. He has 3 governors and 3 senators, most of whom I should say come from the eastern region. Cumberland to be precise, not from the other regions. I don't understand why he does not have a governor or senator elsewhere. And he thinks by way of seniority, he should be the presidential flag bearer. But then Sifuna beats him flat. He is more charismatic, he is more outgoing, he is more charming, he is more articulate, he is more courageous, he is more appealing. And he has a national appeal, as at this moment probably might lose the wave, but currently he has all that, and he has beaten Kalonzo on everything. I
want to go to Mr. Wesley. Mr. Wesley, when you hear this gentleman, it all stinks. I mean, you have Gachagua, who you cannot actually put a jig to. He can't be clean.
According to you. Please say according to me, and then proceed.
Okay. According to Adrian.
I agree.
According to Adrian.
According to me as well.
Absolutely.
According to the majority, you should say.
And the minority will have their say. Continue.
Okay. And then on the other side of the hills, we have Matiang'i. His crimes are there. I mean, where what he's accused of. I mean, the land in Ruaka, the killing of Rivayala, so many things. The dictatorship of President Ruto is written on his forehead. And then you go to who else? I mean, they're all over the place. And I'm not sure how you want to go on from here. Because it seems that you as Wesley, you still respect these people. You respect Matiang'i, respect Kalonzo, respect your party leader DCP. But then there is the tough question that is difficult to answer is they belong to what we don't like, what most people do not like. They're coming from the KANU regime. They're coming from Y92. They're coming directly from State House just the other day. So what do you think is our way forward?
See, when I hear my brother Mulamba speak so passionately about these issues, I understand him, but I am also sympathetic with him.
Okay.
Because he has not found a balance of how to put his ideals in one side and do what is necessary in the other. And let me give you an example why. I do agree. History cannot be erased, Jageru. We are not sitting on political headache because we are perfect men. In fact, if some of our skeletons were to come out, I am sure we would be trending in these Kenyan social media streets for a while.
Mine should come out, by the way.
Hold on. And it's fine. And if they were to come out, it doesn't change anything I said, really. So whether they come out or not, the point still remains that the people of the internet would have a lot of fun with that. And to think otherwise, to think that there are any human beings that are perfect, let me tell you, I like the fact that people...
You might not be a saint, but you cannot be a devil.
It's okay, Adrian. It's okay. The devil was once an angel. Please don't forget that.
But
let me tell
currently
you,
he is the devil.
It doesn't matter. I said
no,
what
no,
I said.
no. Give the guy
Just
his
allow
time.
me
Why
to-
is it
to
that
say.
you're
You see, I was
messing
quiet
up
for
yes,
about 10
yes,
minutes.
yes.
No, we are not trying to take the spotlight from him.
Yeah.
We're just interjecting.
But you are heckling.
No, on fact,
no, you are heckling.
Should be
No, you are heckling. I think Jeff Lee is one of is a very tidy human being.
Yes, I'm a very sober debater because I understand me
I mean,
cutting
that
into your
you better
point.
learn.
Me cutting into your point.
I'm
Let me
also
tell
one.
you. Me cutting into your
You're
point.
the one who pushes my button.
Allow me to say this, Jagero. Me cutting into your point does not make my point stronger.
Yes.
It only makes me look insecure.
Yeah.
So I allow people to say what they need
totally
to say.
agree.
Even if you're feeling a bit personal with my party, that's your own business.
Yes.
However, what I'm saying is, if you put all the men that we look at today, and this is I've heard people talk about it and call it the naivety of Kenyan politics, is that we think that some people will come from heaven with no blemishes and save us. I am not saying that we pick the worst of the lot, but I am saying everybody has a history, and you cannot delete your history.
Yeah.
People made choices in the 80s, but you cannot say that a person made one choice in the 80s cannot make a different choice in the 60s. That's to be obstinate, right? I am sure Mulamba is not the same man he was when he was in his first campus year. He probably had the thoughts that he does not agree with himself today. If the younger him looked at him today, he would probably say, I don't recognize who that is. And that is okay.
Claims that his closet is clean. I don't believe it.
So I have to get
just a minute.
Chance to rebut.
You will rebut. I see you have
Because
a
I
very,
fought tribalism in campus.
I see you have a very healthy notebook. Note it down.
Yes.
My point here is,
okay.
When you look at Kalonzo and the Matiangis and the Gachagwas, do I have things that I personally feel, for example, with Matiangi, that are red flags to me? Of course. Can he make an amend? Of course he can. This notion that political leaders will come with no blemish is just an ideal way of thinking. And the people who agree with Mulamba, the people who agree with Mulamba have that existential problem. And mostly you will find a lot of diaspora people agree with him. And it's because they juxtapose our democracy with others, where there is reward for being a good human being. In Kenya, our citizenry has not shown that. Because in this same formation that wants President William Ruto going home, there were people who fought for multi-party democracy against the very people who is saying did not fight for it. So you're telling me people like Kabando wa Kabando, James Orengo, are now on the same side with Gachagua saying that Ruto must go. Does it negate an issue of today because they disagreed about an issue on yesterday? Because today, let me tell you the reality of situations. Mulamba might feel heavily like this. One day he is sat down by the people where he wants to represent and they tell him, sisi tutakupatia kura, lakini enda kwa hii chama. Hata hiyo nomination tutakupatia, lakini usikuje na hii chama ingine. So if Mulamba wants to get elected, kama aliambiwa si lazima. Sasa unaona he does not want to get elected. Because let me tell you what the reality looks like, Jagero. As a man, and this one I will speak outside of politics.
Okay.
You must always know when push comes to shove, are you good or are you bad?
All right.
But before you get there, you must always understand the kind of adversary you are facing. You cannot face an adversary in the dark. You enter into the Amazon jungle or you go into Mount Kenya forest and you start hoping to find something to fight. You have to first of all see it, study it, and vanquish it.
Okay.
So best believe, I might have things that I disagree with in the current system. But when the time comes when I am a leader, I will make my own adjustments as possible. And that includes being willing to not be voted in a second time. And I've always said this, Jagero, the problems of this country will end the day leaders are okay with just being one term.
Okay.
Because then you do not plan about political longevity. You plan about efficacy. And that efficacy only comes from also an electorate that is not expensive to talk to. Because Mulamba akienda kuomba kura kwenye anaomba, watu wanamwambia hiyo ni sawa yote Mulamba, hii mambo yote umetuambia ukabila iko sawa, lakini unatuacha aje? You understand? So now he faces a reality. He faces a reality that political headache cannot cure for him today.
Yes.
So
now
in the event that he ever chooses to want to get elected enough, he will first of all have to get in the ring in order to fight. A man is not tested by his words outside the ring. You get in the ring first and you fight. Kwetu kuna semangwa, ukishatoa nguo lazima uoge.
Lazima uoge.
Hauwezi tuambia maneno ya usafi ukiwa na nguo. Uoge.
Yes.
So Mulamba, ile siku utataka kuoga, utoe nguo.
Now let me respond to that.
Can you allow this gentleman to give his opinion?
No, I'm loving the conversation.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm loving the conversation.
One, it is unfortunate that Jeff gets to sympathize with me for being trapped in the Kenya I would want to see. Because I thought we were I thought we were in agreement of minds in 2024 when we were pushing for a conversation of a different country. I don't understand how that changed. In fact, I should sympathize with them because he seems trapped with the ideal politics of tribalism, because to him that is probably a pet subject. This might sound personal, but I don't get it that Jeff went from one political leader in his backyard to another political leader in his backyard. That Jeff went
what do you mean?
Jeff went from TSP, that is Mwangi Kiunjuri, to Gachagua, DCP. So it then appears that the message we are sending to the young people in Kenya is you must subscribe to the party leadership of where you come from, and you must bow down to kingpins from where you come from, and if you don't, we should not challenge that, and if you don't, you will not get elected. And it is regrettable because we are 70% of the population, the Gen Zs, the young people. I thought by all means, logically, we get to change politics because we are the majority. And if all of us were pushing for one ideology, for one transformational agenda, I think it would have been easier for us to get it. That now we have to be reduced to worshipping political kingpins and parties that don't even make sense, that have no ideology.
Because the question is, Mr. Mulamba, you are imagining that Jeff Wesley and together with the Gen Zs in the Mount Kenya should have come together and said that we are charting our way in politics, rather than deciding to go to his grandfather of 1986, right? That's what he should have done.
And there is nothing wrong with that. That is what we were supposed to do.
Yeah.
That is the conversation we were pushing. This is why TikTok lives.
Why? This is why?
This is what I don't you agree that this is why
I do agree.
This is how we should have done it.
For baggage,
that is how we should have agreed. And Jeff
but at what point did Jeff bend his knee?
And Jeff has also talked.
No, he has been like that all through.
Jeff has also
he was in TSP before the Gen Z pricing. And after the Gen Z pricing, he's gone to DCP.
He has made his position that,
and the reason why he defends for the same.
The reason why he defends Gachagua, he has made his position that the reason why he defends Gachagua is because, in Kenyan politics, you might not get the saint, you might not get the perfect person. But why is it that we leave the people who are less blemish, and he chooses to spectate on the person with the worst character amongst them? Because something that is quite true is that Gachagua has one of the worst character, yes, and it is my opinion. And a majority of Kenyans will definitely agree by facts of his statements that he has made himself, Gachagua as his party leader. But why is it that you're spectating Gachagua right now? If you're going to talk about somebody not being perfect, why don't you then spectate for a leader who is a little bit less bad than Gachagua? Why don't you also passionately defend someone like Maraga? Why don't you passionately defend someone like Sifuna or Babu Owino, who's far less than Gachagua? Why is it that you choose that specific person?
Before Jeff comes
in fact, the only reason why he chooses...
Just a minute, Mulamba.
Mulamba, you keep interrupting.
Yeah, don't interrupt. Do you know where he's coming from? This is the
Sorry about that.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
And I'll make it, and I'll be very blatant. The only reason why he chooses to defend Gachagua so passionately is because Gachagua is driving the narrative of tribal politics quite so well for his own tribe, the Kikuyu tribe.
And it is true.
And he needs a ticket, and he wants to get a position for DCP. It is the same as Fanyamambo. Fanyamambo has also been my friend quite well. In fact, Fanyamambo was a very radical person against this old political order that we've been having. But what happened when he shared a platform with Fanyamambo 3 days ago? He could hardly answer the question of the character of Gachagua. He could hardly defend him, just like the same Wesley is doing right now. And Wesley is a very smart individual. And you know one thing about debaters, and I saw somewhere that, Plato used to hate debate. Do you know why Plato used to hate debate?
No.
Because debating right does not mean that you are right.
Yeah.
In fact, it is one of the greatest manipulation tactics that exists in this world.
Yeah.
That the most talented people, the most articulative people, the most eloquent people, the people who are carefully crafted to choose words and to rebut what another person has stated, will always be supported by the majority of people. So you see, when Wesley is also passionately defending Gachagua, he's not defending Gachagua because he's making sense. He is not. He's just a good debater, but the reason why he's defending him is because that is his tribal kingpin.
Yeah.
He wants a ticket, he will get it.
What do you think he wants from Gachagua? Why do you think he's hanging on his coattails? Why is he all over Gachagua?
He goes for Gachagua because Gachagua is now the person who's now entrenching the old politics that we are having, just like Mulamba has said. And that type of old politics is very easy, by the way. You've come to realize about it. It is very easy that you don't need to be smart. You don't need to sit down and think so much about the agendas of the people or the ideology. You don't need to stress yourself. You just need to constantly wake up and go on vernacular media station or make press briefings consistently, just like Gachagua. And what do? You just make, unsubstantiated claims against another person, talk vulgar against this political leader. So there is nothing hard about it. And that's the reason why it works so well for people like Gachagua. And the reason why I also think that the biggest fault is with Kenyans is because our Kenyan electorate has not also broken from that system that we are fighting for so hard for them to break from. Our Kenyan electorate is not intelligent.
Let me give you something else so that you respond to all
Please
of them.
make it short. Make it short.
When we were having this conversation as Gen Zs about handouts and kingpins, I remember we did not massage the conversation. We were very blatant. We said we need to end handouts, the conversation and the narrative of handouts, tokenism, and kingpins. I don't remember us endorsing kingpins. As for, na by the way, kama watakulazimisha kuwapea handouts na hauna na wakunyime kiti ni sawa, sio lazima. As for the baggage that Wesley was alluding to, there are leaders in this country that do not have a baggage. Start with Sifuna. I want someone to mention James Orengo's baggage because I've not seen any. There is Maraga, there is Omtata. You would say Maraga and Omtata do not have charisma, and I will agree with you. But then Sifuna has, Orengo has. How about we campaign for Sifuna or Orengo? Why do we have to campaign for Matiang'i or Gachagua? As for Gachagua supporting Orengo, man, I am frustrated on his behalf. On supporting, Jagero was alluding to the camaraderie that is in United Opposition and Linda Mwananchi. See, they are not going for each other's throat. They are saying the enemy is Ruto, so we should find a way of probably kila mtu ashike mahali yake. Should I find a way of working together?
Even within Linda Mwananchi, there is a lot of cordial, fake.
So Orengo is in this position of massaging Gashagua's ego, pleasing Gachagua, playing to Gashagua's tune, because we have placed him in that particular situation. His hands are tied because we've not transitioned from the politics of kingpinship as a country. And really, our metrics for leadership have not improved. So we are putting Akina Sifuna in a very tight position. In fact, if you'd ask Sifuna, he would rather Gachagua was still the deputy president because it would be easier to deal with William Ruto. Now Gachagua is no longer the deputy president who tear-gassed them, who kidnapped them. He is now part of opposition and they have to dance to his tune to please him so that they get a chunk of Mount Kenya. They would rather Gachagua is still with William Ruto and now we are fighting the two of them together. It will be easier that way. Now they have to dance to his rhetorics so that they get a footing in Mount Kenya. Hata kuweka rally Mount Kenya ni kama inahitaji permission ya Gachagua. It is quite unfortunate.
Si walikatazwa kwenda Olkalau, wakaenda huko Nyahururu kwa matawi.
It is quite disheartening and disconcerting, and I don't know how we are going to fix this problem. Now, by the way, this is unpopular, but there was a time I was reflecting on the current political parties we have, or should I say political kiosks. And that was after the passing of Raila Odinga. And I realized, wait a minute, so these parties are going to behave if the party leader dies. So after the party leader dies, it now appears parties are now becoming democratic all of a sudden. All of a sudden, it is comfortable for Sifuna and Babu Owino to have differing opinions with the rest of ODM, and that is welcome in ODM. Well, until they impeach Sifuna from the Secretary General position. But point is that democracy has been lacking in most of these political parties because the party leader is a dictator.
Yes. You have to.
As a wind up,
Mr. Mulamba, there is no winding up.
So as a wind up,
Mr. Mulamba,
do we have to lose?
Can we get Orengo and Babu's speech all together? Then I will allow him to speak. Yeah, Orengo and Babu's speech, because it's important to carry their voices today.
Oh God.
Nimefika hapa wakati mwingi nikuja kuona Wamalwa kijana. Hapa katikati leo tuna kijana Wamalwa. Wangapi mwana Wamalwa? Na pia tulikuwa nakuja na Raila Amolo Odinga hapa Kitale. Raila Amolo Odinga yuko hapa. Muliro, Wamalwa na Raila wako hapa kwa sababu ya Sifuna. Wako hapa kwa sababu ya nani? Mimi nataka niseme hivi na mnisikie kwa makini. Hii vuguvugu ya Linda Mwananchi ndio chama kikubwa Kenya nzima. Wangapi wamekubali kuingia katika Linda Mwananchi? Sisi ndio mto, sisi ndio ile mto mkubwa. Sisi ndio ile mto mkubwa. Yale vuguvugu zingine
na James Agri Orengo. Huyo Orengo ambaye mnamuona hapa. Wangapi wanatambua Orengo, nione kwa mikono. Huyo Orengo ambaye mnamuona hapa ndiye alikuwa anapigana na mtoto wenu hapa ambaye alikuwa anaitwa Masinde. Leo tumekuja kukomboa Western Region. Leo tumekuja kukomboa hapa Trans Nzoia. Siku ya leo tunataka tuwasaidie. We want to save you from the shackles of oppression. We want to save you from the chains of corruption. We want to save you from unemployment. Sisi kama Linda Mwananchi tunasema ya kwamba sisi tukiingia State House tutapatia vijana wetu kazi. Tutapatia wamama wetu kazi. Wazee wetu watapata pesa ya kwenda hospitali kupata matibabu. Mliambiwa mtapewa kazi. Kijana mgani hapa ako na kazi? Hapa nani ako na kazi? Pale nani ako na kazi? Tuliambia wamama wetu watagraduate kutoka kwenye kiosk.
Yeah, I was hoping that they will say something.
Like,
I don't know.
These guys have not given us an agenda. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That the agenda has to be Ruto must go. By the way.
Okay.
And here before.
Remember, you're eating into my time, so I'll not allow you to speak. Allow me to proceed.
Tell us what is the agenda.
Let me. No. Allow me to answer the question.
There are questions that were arising.
Yes.
Okay.
Matters arising.
Sure.
Issues for determination.
Sure. Okay.
So let me first of all contextualize something here.
Okay.
Mulamba, because Mulamba is my age.
Okay.
I will be your accountability meter. for the rest of our lives. And let me tell you, even if we will be on the same side, if we ever show up in Jagero's show somewhere else, I will make sure to rub it in his face when he makes a wrong choice and comes to correct it later.
Okay.
And I will tell you why.
Just a minute.
Recently, the Pope acknowledged the Catholic Church's role in slavery, saying it was wrong, and that he basically acknowledged that bit. There was a leader in the United States called George Wallace. George Wallace in 1963 was a heavy supporter of segregation of races. He later changed his mind, and in 1972 he apologized for that. So what I am trying to allude there is capacity to change. Is the fact that you can make a decision today.
So William Ruto can also change.
Even William Ruto can change. It is a question of whether you adopt the change that he makes. That is not a question for me to answer. It's a question for you. And as at now, and that is why you are seeing what you're seeing in Kenya today, that even when William Ruto makes a pronouncement and says that he will make university education free, and that he will ensure that when women get pregnant, he will provide for them free health care, people are still saying tunakujua hiyo ni mambo ya promises. So even if he changes today, it is up to the people to choose whether they want to adopt that change or accept that apology. And the reason why I brought that is that in the way Mulamba and Adrian here are framing their arguments, it's as if when we clamored on the streets, because Mulamba and I were on the streets on 2024 and 2025, when we clamored on the streets for good governance, accountability, and change, as if I have dissolved that and abandoned it completely for a party that supports corruption, looting, and everything else. As if those are written in DCP's manifesto, that is what they stand for. But a curious question is, does DCP have a manifesto? Hold on.
Probably is mentioning the ideology.
Okay. Jagero.
Okay.
Allow me to finish.
Okay.
You are becoming Mulamba.
Oh God.
Now,
The standard of interruption.
He's the standard of interruption. Even today, look, you're doing it again. You are doing it again. You're doing it again.
If it has a manifesto.
My point here is, Jagero,
I am sorry,
is that when we talk about these things, I still hold them dear to heart. You are questioning me on the route that I have chosen to take, because the whole conversation about this whole thing is not about whether I support good governance, accountability, and transparency. They have all centered on tribe, on one man, who is Rigathi Gachagua. And I have said, I cannot be influenced by your perspectives and how you choose to experience Rigathi Gachagua. That is upon you.
Okay.
And the next thing I want to talk about is, he has said that I was a leader in 2024, and now I am a leader in DCP in 2026.
Yeah.
Conveniently, he has acted as if there was a time lapse there and a blank space that I did not change perspective. I was just in TSP to follow Mwangi Kionjori, and now I am in DCP to follow Rigathi Gachagua. But let me explain something.
Yes.
Let me even put the record straight. When I was in TSP, I joined in 2020 when it was formed. I was made the youth leader in 2021.
Okay.
So
in
I was
TSP?
I was the youth leader from 2021 around September to around June 2020, June 24th, 2025. Right?
About a tenure of 2 years.
Not 2 years. Do your math correctly, Jagero. Otherwise, we will look for your teacher and collect.
You should not
collect school fees
at this time. He can
because,
easily give you blows.
Because when I was youth leader there were things I believed in. And my point of starting to cross with the party were these very things that I believed in when the party went left from them. And I urge the people of the internet who are watching me today to go to my Facebook and check a post that I made called Dissociation from the TSP Party.
Okay.
I will not bother people with reading what I read. I want them to go check it on Facebook.
Give us the crux of it.
So the crux of it is, let me read you what I questioned.
Okay.
I said, for the past year, young people, both in their lives and their tragic deaths, have unequivocally declared that injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere.
Okay.
As we have seen with heart-wrenching clarity, injustice creeps ever so slowly, eventually reaching someone you know, someone you love, and someone who matters. I have strived almost as a lone voice within the party to speak out consistently against these injustices, holding firm to the principles that have guided me all along.
Okay.
That tells you the reason why I wrote that particular phrasing is because I had not been fighting when it was trendy to fight against government. There were things that were going wrong, and I had to consistently be pushed down because I am speaking against the government that the party supports. And so at that point, I started realizing that I am conflicting with the party on some major decisions.
Okay.
But these were untenable disagreements. And when abduction started, when people started to be killed, I started to speak from within the party because I did not want to resign when people tell me you should have tried to fight from within. That is what they are telling Sifuna today. The difference between me and Sifuna is that I resigned, Sifuna did not. He was kicked out.
Okay.
And the reason why that is important, he makes it look like, no, it is Adrian who makes it look like, that I just jumped from one leader to another for political convenience. Let me tell you one thing that crossed me with this one. There is an issue of taxation that I am very firm on, Jagero.
Yeah.
And the issue of taxation is that there can be no taxation without representation. And I believe that if you are a taxpayer, you ought to get your fair share of results from that tax. And one conversation that emanates from that is the 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling conversation. And when it is framed
1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling.
Yes.
Raila Odinga.
Venye unataka kuita, mimi nimeita venye nimeita hiyo.
Okay.
When that argument is framed politically, it is framed as a tribal narrative. And when we stood and assessed that narrative, we saw that it is not an argument of tribe, it is an argument of population within a particular local area.
Okay.
And one of the comparisons we were doing is that the MP for Langata, or the MP of Ruiru constituency, no, let me use Langata so that they don't talk about Mount Kenya and tribe. Langata serves a lot of people. If you compare that to a constituency like, say, Lamu East, where the winning MP, the winning MP in Lamu East is elected with 5,000 votes or less.
Okay.
The MP for Langata, who is Jalango, is elected with tens of thousands of votes. So you cannot tell me that the representation of these people ought to be equal. And I do not say the issue of taxation ought to be one that if I am advocating for more resources towards me, it means that we should take some from you. It is a firm belief that people should be addressed according to their problem. If a problem of a region is that they are diverse and they need more infrastructure to cover representation of the people, let them be addressed to that. So 1 man, 1 kilometer, 1 vote. If that is the argument you want to take, be addressed into that. So when that argument came up, the leadership of the party pushed it heavily. And because it is something that I have seen. When I was in campus, the most bursary you could get as a person in campus was 10,000 from the county, that is Laikipia County, and 5,000 from Laikipia West constituency. But I have been in campus with people from other counties that I don't want to mention for the fact that it will be turned into a tribal narrative, who come to school with a bursary from the county of 45,000. Why? Because they are slightly less. You understand?
Yes.
These are facts. These are things that I have. So I adopted that to mean that 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling Jagero means that wherever you exist, wherever you live, you ought to get the services equivalent to your tax. Now let me land this point. When it got convenient for the party leadership, a bill was taken in order to front this same argument. Another bill was also taken by one Gathoni wa Mushomba. But the president made sure that the MPs who are in Kenya Kwanza do not speak of the 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling conversation again. Right? And then at that same time, Rigathi Gachagua was in a church somewhere and he was asked, what is your opinion on the 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling conversation? And he said, for avoidance of doubt, it must be adhered to. So here we have a man who believes in a principle that another man has gone and said, I believe in the same. If I cross over and say we have an agreement of thought, these two will simplify it by saying that I jumped from Kionjori to Gachagua. But in real sense, the party leadership abandoned the principle they taught me, and now somebody else has identified with it. What are you supposed to do in that case? And that is conveniently what they will not talk about.
How then, when you left that other party, TSP, you looked around for another party?
When I left, I stayed for a while and then I looked around for a party.
Okay. And you're not poached by DCP?
And the only party.
I was. So, you see, I mean, good talent does not stay out.
What then? Who are you in DCP? Who are you in DCP?
I advise the party on strategy and policy.
So and is that
effective because hold on, no, I said strategy and policy because for me it is very keen that the ideas that I
is that an official position?
Yes.
It is?
With the Youth League Secretariat, yes.
Youth League Secretariat.
Let me tell you why that is important to note.
Okay.
It's because I want these ideas I have, these principles I hold, to matter in the discussion table.
Okay.
You understand? So that people like Mulamba and Adrian do not reduce the capacity or the quality of work I want to do into a tribal conversation, because they themselves have a different perspective on who Gachagua is. That is their perspective. And that is why, unfortunately, Jagero, it is impossible to have that explanation with everybody who meets you.
Can I ask you a fair question? What is good about Gachagua?
The fact that, one, we agree on that. Why? On the fact that I told you he believes in the principles of taxation. You ought to get what you are owed by your taxes.
Okay.
You understand? That is one thing. And you see, he's already smiling.
And
let me tell you, he's already smiling. Hold on. He's already...
That is the only thing you can mention good about him.
Ignore these people, because I'm the one asking the question. I don't know why you are... Don't stray. I am the one asking you this question. Forget about these guys. These guys already have an opinion on you. So you better...
No, we don't have an opinion on Jeff. We have an opinion on DCP and its leadership.
No. So then, you believe that...
you can't say anything good about Gachagua, just be fair.
No, because whatever they are describing as bad is inconsequential
to
political
interest. But also...
Okay, let him say the good thing then. Give him a chance.
But he has said it. He has said that the good thing about Gachagua is that he believes that our taxes are supposed to be working for us. That's what he has said.
No, he has said 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote.
Isn't that a taxation?
That is what he said he liked the most about Gachagua.
No, I did not say the most.
Of all the things he could see with his intelligence, that is the thing that he likes about Gachagua.
Let me be candid.
I feel like you want to put words in Jeff's mouth.
No, I want to be candid with Jeff.
No.
Jagero is the one who is asking the question.
Mulamba, let's do this favor. Let him tell us what is good about Gachagua.
He has already said it.
I've already said it.
He has already said it.
If he says the unequal distribution of votes in Kenya, that is the thing that he loves the most. And because Kikuyus are the most populous people in this country, he feels like they should be getting the most. That is what he's communicating right now.
And you see,
not that the conversation is wrong.
Mulamba and
who should be receiving the most amount of resources?
Is it the marginalized people? It looks like I had something different. What exactly?
They clearly did, because
no, you did.
What
did you say?
One man.
No. Let him repeat. Surely, Mulamba, you are so you have some decorum.
Can I talk? Can I have permission?
Okay, explain 1 vote.
I want him to explain what he has said, because you guys are talking about completely something different than I had.
What is happening?
You've not heard him.
Jagero,
you've asked him what is good about Gachagua, and they said what I love about Gachagua so much is that 1 man, 1 vote is what he stands for.
Give Jeff some time.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes, Jeff. What exactly did you tell me? Because now I'm confused about what I had.
Let me tell you.
Okay.
This is why.
Okay.
Even he has consistently said the constitution cannot be read in isolation.
Okay.
This thought process is like the constitution. You cannot isolate the last thing I said and ignore the context that I gave. I was answering and raising issues.
Yes.
And so I went from a point of disparaging what they are saying, that I jumped from Kionjori.
Yes, that one was properly explained.
You see how he's taking us back. He's not going to answer.
I am going to answer the question.
Yes.
And then they asked, what is it? You've asked me what is it that we agree, what is good about Gachagua.
Yes.
And I went to the point that I was already driving.
Yes.
We agreed, or we had an agreement on taxation principle.
Okay.
That one I agree.
All right.
And then
can you contextualize the taxation principle?
I said, it's a question of 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling. And I said,
tell people what it means.
What does it mean?
Will you at least just...
Yes.
I started by saying, and I don't know if we need to get you notepad so that you can write. Because you are clearly not using them.
I'm scribbling.
You are scribbling. Do you want to show what you're doing, Adrian?
I'm not using mine.
But anyway, listen.
Yes.
Let me let's start here. I said,
I don't need to write anything. I know the meaning.
I said, there can be no taxation without representation.
Okay.
And quantification of representation is in your population. And the reason why I chose Langata as a constituency is because, one, it is not in Mount Kenya. It is just a very cosmopolitan constituency that is very heavily populated. And I asked you a question, Jagero. The people in Lamu East elect their member of parliament with an equivalent of 5,000 votes.
Okay.
At least 5,000 votes.
Okay.
Mbunge mwenye anaenda bunge akona 5,000 votes. Mbunge wa Lang'ata goes with tens of thousands of votes.
Okay.
All right? So now my question is, when CDF comes to Lamu East, right?
Okay.
It is supposed to be, let's assume, I'm not saying Lamu East has a population of 5,000 people, but let's assume those are the numbers, okay? 36,000 votes for Lang'ata and 5,000. If he gets CDF of 5 million, of 170 million to distribute to his constituents, will the distribution be fair and equal to you in those two constituencies?
No.
Absolutely not. And that's why I am saying the principle of taxation is where we agree. Right? That you ought to have your tax properly work for you if you're properly represented. Do you understand what I mean now?
Yes, but I honestly asking this from a very ignorant point. That you're saying that if you're a million people coming from a locality and you're paying tax, then the money that is coming back to you in CDF has to be more than let's say Lamu.
And that's what I'm saying. It's not and when I say more,
roads.
No, yes. And when I say more, I said, and in my previous submission I had said, when this argument is politicized, there is an assumption that when we say that, what you've exactly said, that you want more resources allocated according to where there is more people, if a constituency also has different problems, like for example, the northern frontier districts have problems of marginalization. Hence, they get equalization fund. So let each locality be dealt with according to the problem they have. If a locality has a problem of overpopulation, let resources flow to that locality in that similar regard. And that does not mean that the overpopulated society gets to take away from the sparsely populated popularity.
Popularity, but that is exactly what it means.
No, it doesn't mean that way.
No,
because
right.
even when you go to what they call the Senate revenue allocation formula, it is there to ensure that does not happen. That everybody is treated differently according to their problems. So if a constituency is sparsely populated, but it is geographically wide, that is why MPs from that area get mileage allowances that MPs from our areas don't. And we are not saying now we cannot start complaining that then they're getting mileage. They have constituencies that are quite big. And that is the argument that I have.
Okay. And at that junction...
No.
And we need to rebut.
No. I'm going to allow you. But I'm asking him one question.
Okay.
What is the context of this belief? Is it that, because according to what I'm hearing from these two gentlemen, is that you guys are believers of this thing because you believe that Mount Kenya is
they're the
very
most populous.
Most popular.
Me get there.
And currently the resources that are going there is not commensurate.
Yes, that last bit I agree with completely.
Yeah.
However, when the populous thing, people like Adrian, when they talk, they expect us to shy away from it. I will not shy away from the fact that Mount Kenya has a lot of people. But nobody sends their application to be born in an area. Mimi sikutuma application ya kukua Mkikuyu. You understand? Even you, to be named Jagero, you did not send an application.
No, not
the point here is that today, Mount Kenya people are the most populous.
Okay.
This will not be a permanent issue for us.
All right.
Tomorrow, the Luya people who are struggling so much to say that they are united,
because I want to understand you. And it's very important that I understand you. So the agitation is that Mount Kenya has not been getting their fair share.
And
in
that
terms
one,
of population.
In terms of population, and that one, I am not running away from you. You're asking me the same question twice.
Okay.
And I've already said, I will not run away
I just
from
want
the
to be
fact
sure.
that
I just want to be
Mount Kenya
sure.
are the most populous now. You
Okay,
understand?
then the other question is, do you then understand that when you try to say that in public, it looks selfish?
Yes, and I will tell you why it looks selfish. Because I said, and I was very clear, when this issue is politicized, the leaders from those areas frame it as wale watu wa mlima wanataka wapewe pesa mingi kwa sababu ni wengi na sisi tunyimwe kwa sababu tuko kidogo. Whereas they don't tell the truth and they tell them, look here, While they are getting more money for overpopulated areas, we're getting money because we are sparsely populated and our constituencies are geographically big. We get mileage allowances, we get equalization funds, we get donations from international organizations. They don't want to have those conversations.
So what your problem is that this factor is not looked at when money is being disbursed.
No.
The factor of population.
I'm saying it is looked at. However, it is a continuous problem. It is a going concern. It is not a permanent fixture problem. And the reason why this is important for us to contextualize is because they asked me a fundamental question.
Yes.
What is good about Gachagua? This one I said, and he said, that is the only thing I could pick. I could have picked to say he's an honest man, but that is a very shallow argument to bring here. I gave you a substantive argument so that you can go question yourself. Even you tell us, what does Sifuna believe in? And he will tell you very well, Sifuna believes in A, B, C, D. He will pick a substantive issue if he means to actually educate the people of the internet. So I did not choose to focus on Gashagua's popularity.
No, I'm the one who's rebutting, not Mulamba.
I did not choose to focus on Gashagua's personality because his personality is his personality. I chose a place of agreement in principle. And that is one of them. And let me tell you, I was winding up my point before. You rudely interrupted me.
No. I just wanted to understand because
I appreciate that. However, when I am dissociating from my previous party, looking for another party, and one of the clarion calls in that letter that I have asked the people of the internet to go to my Facebook is Wesley Jeff, to go and look at, you will see that I was decrying state abuse of police. I was decrying the fact that we deliberately asked for good governance, and I was decrying the fact that my party was silent when this was happening. So I am out of the party, and then I now look for the loudest voice that we share the same agreement that this government is mismanaging the country. Who happens to be that voice? Rigathi Gachagua at the time. So I joined Rigathi Gachagua, and now they want to question me because they think, in their observation of what Rigathi Gachagua is, he's just a tribal kingpin. But I tell them, in my experience of him, which you cannot control, he is different things that we agree on as well. So I know I can see the shock on your face that you did not expect that I would have such a long-winded answer to answer you.
No. I'm actually all right, but I also wanted to ask you is that
allow me. I was landing. I was just landing. So
but you've landed. They can say you're already taking off again.
I'm going to that gentleman.
Just to answer Adrian's question, there are things, and you must accept that there are things that you may not be able to experience from another person's perspective. And I respect yours if you think tribalism is the only thing Rigathi Gachagua can offer. I have a different view.
Do you think that Rigathi Gachagua suffers from tribalism?
I don't
think
so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think he is forthright about the region he comes from.
Okay. Can I go to Adrian? Let me go to Adrian, then I come to you. Let me go to Adrian because he's making so much noise.
I am not. Thank you for noticing that.
Can you say quickly?
No, what do you mean say quickly? I'm not saying
we are supposed to end the show.
No, we will end it at midnight then. If that be so.
But we have to put the record straight.
Yes. The more the show continues, the more you get paid. So
not necessarily.
And you see the problem with this one man, 1 shilling, 1 vote principle. You see, before we actually decided to ask those questions, Wesley just pointed it out without even saying the meaning of it. Even you, Jagero, does not really understand that principles as it is.
I was not understanding it, but now I do.
But you see, if that is the only thing that he can mention that he likes about Gachagua, that is also very disappointing. So this principle is something that has not been talked about for the first time by him. It is something that was there even before the creation of this constitution that we so are proud about. And the constitution highly rejected this principle, and it made a very good analysis on how we are supposed to be distributing resources in this country. And in fact, if you are very critical and smart on how resources are supposed to be allocated, these marginalized, less populated areas are supposed to be receiving more money than even Kiambu and Nyeri. Because let me give you a simple example. If we were to talk about health today, if he says that this particular region has a huge number of people and we are supposed to be allocating 100 million, then you go to somewhere like Garissa, whereby because of the geographical size of that particular county, the cost of delivering that service of health becomes even more expensive than Kiambu County. So the moment you just narrow down to population and say Kiambu County has 1 million people, okay, let's allocate 100 million shillings, and the fact that Lamu and the fact that Garissa County today has 20,000 people, will only allocate 50 million for them. But you don't realize that these are population of people who are scattered doing everything. So it doesn't want to consider those important factors for equitable distribution of resources, but he just wants to talk about population. So the people who drafted our constitution were very deliberate to refuse this issue. And they refused it because they decided to put out Article 203, and they stated that when it comes to distribution of resources, we have to analyze a raft of different many factors. And one of them is geographical size of that place. The geographical region of that place. How does it cost to move around in this particular place? The cost of delivering that service in that particular place. How does it come about? No, listen, he's saying that because he just thinks that only favors Kiambu County.
Why don't you ignore
doesn't.
Him? He's not spoken. Why are you
it
looking at
doesn't. He's making funny, goofy faces. He knows it's getting in my head. Yes, he does. So you see, and he's saying that, but I might also just listen to him and maybe consider him, because he thinks that what I'm saying is also relatable to the people of Kiambu County. The cost of delivering this service in Kiambu is not the same as delivering in another county. The poverty levels in Kiambu is not the same as the poverty levels in Garissa County. And the historical marginalization in Kiambu County is not the same as these other counties. That is why when we were first having devolution, the people who needed to get the most amount of money was not them. It was the people in Northeastern, more than any other region. So for them, he wants us to ignore all these factors and wake up today and state that we're only going to focus on the issue of population. And let me tell you, the principle of one man, one vote is not about the factors that he's trying to highlight. Because
one man, one vote.
It is about population, nothing else.
But I said that, Adrian.
It is. So the moment you narrow down to population, and I know, the moment you narrow down to population, it becomes a dangerous thing when it comes to distribution of resources. And he's a lawyer. In law, we have a principle that is called equity, and a principle that we call equality. Sometimes they sound the same, but they are not the same. Inequality is you receiving the same thing as me. I get one orange, I also get one orange. But in equity is us receiving the same thing, but proportionate to our needs and problems. So I might get 2 oranges because I did not have an orange yesterday. But you get 1 orange because you had an orange yesterday. And that is termed as equity. Simple as that. Let us have fair, equitable distribution of resources based on the factors that are provided in under Article 2 or 3 of the Constitution, not what this tribal bigot called Gachagua is propelling. Absolutely
did I
not.
say that or did I not? Did he just, hold on. Did he just repeat what I said or did I not? Did he not?
Is the difference is that he's not saying that we cannot be stuck on the body count alone.
And did I say that some regions are also considered based off their geography and their infrastructural development? Did I say that?
How? No, you're trying to learn something that is not there. You're trying to get Jagero to agree to something that is not there.
I said it. Mulamba, did I say it?
Mulamba, you can't settle it. You make it worse.
Let me settle this conversation. One, I agree with all my body parts with the conversation on one man, one man, one vote, 1 shilling. I agree with that conversation. It is unfortunate and regrettable that this conversation appears to be one-sided and that is being pushed by leaders from the Mount Kenya region. They are the most populous tribe. Give it to them. Why are Luyas not pushing for this? They are the second most populous tribe. Why are Kalenjins not pushing for this? It would favor them anyway. They are the third most populous tribe. So hapo nadhani watu wangu wa Luya land wamelala.
No.
This one man, one vote, 1 shilling was favorable to them. In fact, the conversation is because these guys contribute a lot of revenue, then they should get a fair share of it. Kupea Northeastern 18 billion wakanue crate moja ya soda na 1 million makes absolutely no sense. Na kupea Kiambu 6 billion mahali kuna population around 4 million. So it makes sense, but if we have to be honest about this conversation, we have to trace it back to where it came from. Agreed. The conversation came from 1965, Secessional Paper number 10. That was when we first had this conversation. It was shelved. The idea was we need to invest and pour resources into regions that yield the quickest and largest economic output.
That was unfair.
And fortunately or unfortunately, that was supposed to be Central and the Western region. But it appears
colonialism.
But it appears the resources went to the Central region and sidelined the Western region. This conversation again features prominently in the 2020 era during the BBI discussion. You remember, it was a bone of contention then, and it is still now. The provisions in the BBI included this same provision of the 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling. I'm saying that because I followed the entire conversation on the BBI.
Yeah.
And then Gachagua voted down on this. He was anti 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling. Then he was siding with William Ruto. And remember, William Ruto was flagging down the BBI, not because he did not agree with the provisions. He was flagging it down because he was trying to make a name for himself. The same way he fought the constitution in 2010, not because he did not believe in it, but because he wanted to make a name for himself. He wanted to stick out. So this same Gachagua fought the 1 man, 1 vote shilling in 2020. In 2021, his former political party leader, Mwangi Kiunjuri, reintroduced the conversation as a bill in parliament. Gachagua did not support him then. He decried
that is factually incorrect.
No, I can read it for you.
Read it, because I was there when that bill was
the proponents
being sent to
of the 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling in Mount Kenya were Anne Waiguru, Senator Joe Nyutu, nominated MP Sabina Chege, Kiambu MPs including Peter Mwanthi from Limuru, and the list goes on, and the list has no Gachagua in it. And Gachagua was an MP from 2017 to 2022. And it gets interesting because when Mwangi Kiunjuri brought this conversation, Gachagua did not support it. In fact, the earliest known support of Gachagua to the 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling was when he became deputy president. When he became deputy president, he changed tune. He became suddenly the honest man and decided to support the 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling. If he thinks I'm lying, he could go back to the answered and to the conversations about the 1 man, 1 vote shilling before Gachagua became deputy president, and you will see it for yourself that Gachagua was not pro this thing, and he has suddenly become clever when he became deputy president because he needed the support of the Mount Kenya region, and he needed to show them that he's advancing their interests. In fact, back then, I have remembered, Gachagua said Mwangi Kiunjuri should toe the line. He should support William Ruto, who was the deputy president then. And it cannot then appear that Mwangi Kiunjuri, who was an MP in Central, would be fighting William Ruto, who was enjoying the support of the Mount Kenya people. So when he becomes deputy president, he changes his tune and becomes an honest person, an honest man. As for DCP, Jeff, you are going to be disappointed in this DCP more than I am and more than Adrian is. Amen. I'm just giving you a few years into it. The same DCP is praising today has oldies running it. The party leader is Gachagua, who is 61. The deputy party leader is Cleophas Malala, who is 40. Mithika Linturi, the national organizing secretary, is about 52, if they haven't changed him. I'm going by what I have here. Kate Waruguru, national women leader, 41. Maina Kamanda, council chairman of eminent persons, 74. Peter Mwadhi, the former Limuru MP, 65. Then there is Ezron Obaga, Martin Olekamwalo, and so on.
Why are you not saying Ezron Obaga's age? Why are you not saying Meadows' age?
Ezron Obaga. Ezron Obaga.
Can you say your last words as
Ezron Obaga and Wanjiku Thiga,
no,
if I'm getting it right, are the only young people in that official hierarchy of leadership.
I mean, who is paying you to do?
No, I want you to understand this let me land my point. You have to be fair with me. Because
yes, but in a minute,
out
because
of
we
that
are
party
coming to an
leadership, I expected more Gen Zs in the DCP leadership. They are reduced to flower boys and page boys, even in a newly formed party. That Wanjiku Thiga could only get
But Wesley is a prominent member in
the National Youth League of DCP, not in the official leadership of DCP.
Yeah.
He is in the National Youth League. He is not different from Kasmuel, who is in the ODM Youth League. In fact, he's better off because he has an official position in the Youth League. Kasmuel doesn't. But Point is, they are still in the youth league, not in the official party leadership. I expected DCP to show us a different way of doing things. And by the way, Kamau Ngodho is not a youth. He is past 35, so he's not a youth.
His campaign was never about him being a young person.
No, I want you to understand me. I expected that for Gachagua to appeal to the young people and to the Gen Zs and to show us a change of heart, that his new party would front a Gen Z, campaign for that Gen Z and ensure they win, because Gachagua has the mountain locked and a key and whatever they say, and that did not happen.
In finishing,
that did not happen.
In finishing,
and looking at it from that angle, I think DCP still missed it. They had a golden opportunity to appeal to the young people, and they still missed it. And that's why I'm saying I would not be surprised if Gachagua and Matiang'i went to William Ruto in 2027.
Okay,
because
great.
They are both dictators and they have zero ideologies.
Thank you. What is your last word, Mr. Adrian? Please say good night.
No, I'm making it worse. I want to introduce a topic for us to debate. Okay, I'm kidding. But for me, listening to Wesley speak, and I always say this, that the Kenyan electorate is one of the worst electorates that we have. The Kenyan electorate, somebody told me that the Kenyan electorate is the only electorate that can forgive you for literally anything. They can forgive you for literally anything. That today you can wake up, kill over 100 young people, but you'd still wake up today and say that I want to be your president, and they would still forgive you. So right now, Welsi is here also telling us that let us forgive Gachagua for what he has done. So that means that we should also be forgiving Ruto and other bad leaders. So let us change our mindset as the people of Kenya. People don't change, leaders don't change. And we are not in a shortfall of leaders. Let us not just look for the little options that we are having in this country. If a leader goes against the values of leadership, kick him out of leadership. It is as simple as that. Don't die with him. Good night, the people of the internet.
Thank you. Jeffrey, Jeff, today has been a tough night, has it not been?
It has not been. I just need 30 seconds to... 30
seconds is good. Thank you.
Personally, for me, Mulamba has stated a lot of factual inaccuracies.
Factual inaccuracies.
Which
now
I cannot...
If he has to attack me in his closing statements, then you give me a chance to...
No, there is no chance. But you have been attacking him the whole time.
But I did not attack him in my final sentence.
No, you did. No, you did.
You mentioned
no, you
about
did.
TSP.
No, you did. You can't be speaking from both ends of your mouth.
Mulamba is like that.
Mulamba, no.
These are the debates they have.
It is his final word. Let the guy talk in peace.
These are the debates they have in Bunge, because now uko structure kidogo ni
I have so many structure.
Let me say this. He mentioned that DCP does not have Gen Zs. He mentioned DCP is devoid of young people, and I call them factual inaccuracies because in the party leadership there are people he has omitted conveniently. Medho, he's omitted Hezron Obaga, he's omitted Wanjiko, he's omitted Mabel Owino. They hold titles.
Are there Gen Zs in the national?
Yes, that's the no. Please. They meant those are people in the neck. I'm not talking about anybody else, not the NGC, not the NMC, nothing. I am talking about the neck, and that speaks to exactly what I was talking about earlier. That they have chosen to see it a particular way. He talked about equity. I mentioned equity. I said let each region be handled according to the problems they have. But he forgot that and mentioned that I was only speaking about a population issue. And I said, I acknowledge that one day Mount Kenya might not be the most populous community in Kenya. And when that time comes, the people who will have that burden will also agitate for the same. So in closing, I would urge my also fellow young leaders, as well as you have. This one goes to Adrian. Adrian, the government that we are looking for next year, if it so happens we get it, and the government commits crimes, prepare yourself. Because then you will have a hard time explaining to Kenyans why your leaders are changing their minds. Well, you've clearly stated here that leaders have no capacity to change their minds because Gachagua apparently had a history that he is now being questioned for. And to Mulamba, Mulamba, you are a very bright leader. We've walked these trenches with you, especially resisting this government. But if you want to make substantive change, we cannot only make it through the conversations we have, we also have to seek elective leadership. And please understand the people who you will go to ask votes. They do not think the way you are thinking. That's my closing statement.
All right. Thank you very much, people of the internet. It has been beautiful. Mr. Mulamba, thank you very much for coming. It's always a pleasure. Mr. Jeff, always. You fought like hell to repel these young men that are taking you to some place you don't want to go. Mr. Adrian, thank you very much. Congratulations for your Trans Nzoia, and tomorrow you are in Bungoma. Yeah, thank you very much. People of the internet, this has taken a little bit too long. And I am so glad that you were here the whole time, never dropping in viewership. Thank you very, very much. I want to thank Mr. John Tess on the camera and on TikTok, and Mr. Frank on the deck. Thank you very much, people of the internet. Till another episode, bye for now. All right, people of the internet, I hope that you're enjoying this episode very much. And I just had a break to tell you about my new book. Everybody says that there is no job, and that is true. Also, that was me 10 years ago. The problem is that everybody is trying to get a job in their town, in their city, in their marketplace. They ask friends for jobs, mothers call uncles, uncles call brothers, but there are no jobs. Let me tell you what no one is telling you. Jobs migrated online. What I actually mean is there are many, many jobs around the world, and there is no one to do them except you. I work for Americans myself. I work for Europeans. I work for the Chinese. I work for the Australians. I work for the Canadians. And so, because I have done so much for myself, I said to myself, you know what? I should compile what I've been doing for the last 15 years. So in 2024, I wrote a digital book called Goldmine 18 Hustles for Africans. And then in 2025, AI came. People say AI is taking away our jobs. And for me, I'm going to say false. There are actually AI jobs. Jobs are not being taken by AI, but there are new jobs online that are there because of AI. Now, mimi ni nani? I created more jobs. And for now, in my new book, we have 25 online and offline jobs that you can leverage on if you do not have a job. So in this powerful volume 2, I share 25 new actionable online hustles specifically researched and tailored for Africans. My new book provides clear step-by-step guidance drawing from my extensive experience and research, including the mistakes I've made and lessons I've learned over the 15 years that I have worked online. So what can you do online? You can become an executive assistant for busy folks in Europe, America, Canada, and get paid for tasks like watching videos and taking online surveys. Okay? You can build a lot of things. Build a business as a virtual assistant, start an e-commerce shop without capital, be an affiliate marketer, or you can also become actually an English tutor, and tens of AI jobs. If you have a job, that is fine. But I also know that you can buy this book for that brother, for that sister, for that mother, for that cousin, for that husband who is watching Netflix all day at home. Buy it for your friend who is always asking for cash. You know that friend. Now, all the information is on the description below. You can also inbox me, you can WhatsApp me, or go to my website, which is odworjegero.co.ke.